Yeah, all good.
All right, we are back as always. The Something About Soccer boys for our next watch party. Austin FC against San Diego FC. Guys, how are we doing today? Are we ready for another watch party? Biz, I'm gonna ask you first.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Appreciate everybody that's in here early as we get ready for another SAS watch party. But yeah, my weekend's been good. I told Dylan picks when I first got in here. I'm recuperating a little bit. It was a Minnesota United home game yesterday against the Galaxy.
Yes, sir.
So middle of the day game here, 3:30 my time. So we ended up me and my brother and my girlfriend were out until I don't even know, probably about 11ish, midnightish after the fact. So watched some March Madness on top of that too. So there was plenty of fun to be had, but the game result was not my favorite ending of all time with the late equalizer for the Galaxy. But yeah, overall, I'm doing good. It's a classic lazy Sunday.
We love a lazy Sunday. And picks, how are we doing on this lazy Sunday?
Yeah, I can't complain either. Lots of soccer games I watched this past weekend. A lot of international ones as well, and I'm excited to get into this game. I think that we're seeing a lot more of the league actually flesh out and develop now that we're a
Mm-hmm.
couple match days in. So we're starting to see all the pieces slot into where they kind of belong, and seeing about the teams that are in form, seeing if they're going to run out of form in a couple match days. So it's a good, I think, a good touch line here to catch base around this time where we've seen a couple games, we've seen a couple different challenges for different teams. But yeah, this is I think Austin's a team that I don't really know too well.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously San Diego is still only 5 or 6 games in, so it's still a huge question mark.
Mm-hmm.
So just excited to see kind of how their styles match up against each other.
All right. Well, I agree. I'm excited for this game, but before we get into that, before we kind of talk about some pre-show stuff, would love to say hello to everyone in the chat. Marvelous Birch and Otto, thank you for the follows. Obviously, friends of our own individual channels and our community as a whole, so welcome in. And Mariners says he has won 29 out of 30 league games with Kaiser Chiefs, drawing just
Wow.
one. Wow. You're going to get them to the Club World Cup. That's impressive. Craig Ford, thank you for the follow as well. Birch, how's everyone doing? Well, we just told you. And what soccer? You know exactly what it is. Otto said, okay, last one. Why do all the American sports commentators sound like the same guy? Barely notice any accent difference, even if it's a Southern team playing. Otto, that's exactly how I feel about people in the UK. So how's that make you feel? Just kidding. I don't know. I think you just need a more larger range. I feel like the MLS guys definitely. I don't know if there's like one unique. The MLS doesn't have the like that Liga MX guy who just yells "Goal," and then the Charlotte what's it called, Hornets NBA commentator who's an absolute psycho. We got some characters in the US, but I think in MLS it's not as it's not as it's crazy. Well, I don't know, Biz. You probably know the most out of being an absolute MLS sicko, watching a bunch of different games with commentators. Do you notice anyone with like a very distinct voice or personality?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple. I would agree that I do think that there is a lot that are going to sound similar. MLS with this Apple TV deal just actually, over this last few years has really gone to a national block of broadcasters that
Mm,
are the same. So they identified everybody from the regional markets. So it used to be set up where each team had their own designated broadcasters. Us, for example, we had actually two of the people that are part of that national block are within that Apple TV grouping. Now, Callum Williams, who I love, does a great job, is from the UK himself, is usually one of the, I would say probably one of the top like 5, 6 on call, like kind of for the midweek game or for the Saturday games. And then Kendra de St. Aubin is a local person here that played at the University of Minnesota that ended up parlaying like her color commentating to be part of the team too. So it's like you have people like that have come overseas. You have people here that are in like little local markets, but then you'll also have people too, like a Max Bratos who's been doing it for a long time. That's based out of LA. He did a lot of the
mm-hmm.
LAFC games, and I feel like he has a pretty unique goal call. he kind of does like the long, like, yes, like kind of like that bit. And I always really like that.
I don't know if I like that.
I kind of like
maybe
that.
maybe I didn't
Super
like your
unique.
impression of it, but I don't know if I like that.
But I would say for him specifically, he's done some national team calls. I actually like specifically remember him doing like a Benny Philhaber goal against Mexico way back when. So he did some of the U.S. men's national team stuff back in the day as well. So he definitely still have it. But no, I would agree. I think there's not like anybody that really sticks out that's like a hardcore like Texan accent or anything like that that would be really specifically unique. You'll have a couple like maybe some dual national commentators that might have a little bit of like a South American accent with them, where they'll bring some of that to the call. But and then a couple of people from the UK that have just come over to do it here. So that's pretty much where it gets to.
That totally makes sense.
And the other thing that kind of sucks is that like you take out a lot of like the regionalisms because they kind of want to conform to make it like a national package. So I feel like there's like a lot of things that you kind of miss out on where it's like, and even so, I think that there's also just been like over time, there really isn't as much like, you can't really tell my accent apart from someone from Texas, from someone from Austin and stuff like that a lot of the times. So I feel like there's just also been just like a lot of a standardization of just like calling and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. There's also just there's a classic in the United States anchor voice, commentator voice that I feel like you kind of learn in school for going. I don't even know what it'd be called, broadcasting school. People kind of gain this interesting voice. But a couple more messages in chat. I want to welcome in Cobra and T Bagley. Cobra says, let Netflix take over the TV deal. T Bagley says, Apple TV is the worst. Okay, I don't hate that. I don't know. Apple TV is it just feels like everything is such behind a paywall, because even to watch the free games you have to have an Apple TV Plus account, which is like
I know. Yeah. It's changed now.
Yeah,
lately.
Netflix wouldn't be a bad idea. I feel like Netflix right now, they do some boxing events. They have WWE now, which is interesting.
Like pay-per-view sort of stuff where it's
like
once every couple months.
A full league would actually be pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. But so just welcome in. I'm curious if you guys have any other suggestions for where MLS games could be streamed in the chat. I feel like me and my friends joke with all the streaming services. It feels like they're so ridiculous now. It's like the names are crazy. Hulu. I feel like I always mess with my friend and say, "Did you see the new show on Fluby?" And he's like, "What?" It's like, no, you have to catch it on Stream It or something. But
yeah, I think you should leave Corncob TV.
YouTube would be interesting.
Top and flop on Corncob TV.
They did some games on YouTube TV for a little bit, right? I remember that like a couple years ago, Biz. And then USL they've done on YouTube TV a little bit as well.
Yeah, USL is on ESPN Plus now as well, and then you also have YouTube TV. I think their big thing as of late, they got the NFL Sunday Ticket deal, like most recently. So that's like where a lot of their resources went. So it's always just kind of it's a random musical chair assortment. I feel like of all this stuff, and yeah, actually, I would encourage you guys too, because we talked about the Apple TV deal on one of our podcasts a while back too, just kind of on our thoughts, because we're definitely in the same boat. I don't think it's perfect by any means. There is things that I do think that Apple does that I appreciate, that they take like a lot of the criticisms from the watching public and try to actually kind of help amend their own personal product to that. Now, having said that, I think they need to really hit and stick out of the gate here in the next year or two. Otherwise, I think they're going to lose it. MLS does have opt-outs here where they can choose to go away from things. And I think collectively right now, in this pivotal of a time with Messi here in the World Cup upcoming, we're at a pretty big, like, kind of like fork in the road moment for MLS, where I feel like they kind of need to get this TV deal situation sorted out and
something
correct.
Consistent. It feels like it's different every year.
It's at a big breaking point right now where I feel like they need to have something go correct. And I think Apple's, I don't want to say necessarily like scrambling, because I do think that there is like a decent product there. But the issue is because, like Dill said, it's so behind a paywall that it does get in the way of a lot of people enjoying that product. And it really gets in the way of anybody that casually wants to try to check it out, which I thought last year with the free games, they did a great job of allowing people to come in and kind of like, dip their toes in the water on, do I like this? Is this something that I could like get behind even paying? But then also the whole other argument is the price point after that. So there's a lot of different things to dissect with it. And we could talk hours on that, but
yeah. So let's move on before the game starts. 13 minutes before kickoff for Austin FC and San Diego FC. We're going to stop talking about TV and we're just going to transition into a PowerPoint slide. How exciting is that? Let's get off this mode so it's full screen. So the two teams today, Austin FC, who are currently sitting 10th in the Western Conference League table, and newly, I was going to say promoted. We don't have that. Newly made team, San Diego FC, through 4 games, unbeaten. Because this is game week 5. Yep, unbeaten.
It is. Yep.
I hate seeing that 2-0 Galaxy one right there. So, two teams kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of the table so far. If you look at Austin's FC last 4, Pix and I were talking a little bit about it before the stream started, but they have yet to play in a game where more than 1 goal has been scored. They're sandwiching 2 1-0 losses with 2 1-0 wins against Sporting Kansas City and LAFC. The LAFC win probably being their most impressive game of the season so far. And just quick thoughts on that before we talk about San Diego a little bit. Just going back and watching some of those LAFC highlights, I feel like we're going to see what's going to be indicative of the game we might see today. I think Austin FC are going to sit back a little bit and, absorb a lot of pressure and try and get out on the counterattack. LAFC all game last week, despite not being able to score, were peppering them all game with chances. And honestly, they probably deserved a goal or two. So I'm very curious to see if San Diego FC gets after them in a very similar way, because San Diego FC has proved to be a very positive team to start this season. So Pix, in regards to only being able to score more than 1 goal in 1 game all season for Austin, what do you expect from the Austin FC side?
It's going to be tough, because I think the other side of it is that Austin have also been very defensively solid, where they've only had 1 goal scored on them. So just as much as they're not generating as much, or they're not creating as many chances or finalizing their chances, they're also stopping chances from being scored on them. And I think that that's also something that has to be recognized when you're facing a team like San Diego that has, that really, really, super, super high octane offense. I think that one of the biggest things is that their attack has been so surprising and how they've been really to hit the ground running. So it's going to be really surprising on if San Diego can figure out the puzzle to kind of break down Austin, because Austin have been pretty solid in that sense. But it's going to be interesting to see, if San Diego get that 1 goal, what's going to happen there? Are they going to try to, defend that and try to make it only 1-0? Or are they going to try to, go all out to try to get that equalizer? So it's going to be really interesting to see. And I think a lot of it is going to depend on who scores the first goal and also what time the first goal is scored. But I'm thinking that there's probably going to be an early goal, and I'm probably going to be predicting it's coming from San Diego.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting defensive side, which isn't something that you can really say in the MLS.
Yeah.
Because it's usually you're mostly talking about the attack, but that's not so much the case, especially with one of their key players missing. I forget what his name is, but I'm pretty sure he's from Albania. What's his name again, Biz?
Yeah, so Azuni, and you actually that's a good transition, because I was just going to make sure to let everybody know too. So we're in the midst of obviously international break, so a lot of people are probably wondering to themselves, if you don't follow the MLS very closely, you're like, well, how is the league playing right now in a FIFA sanctioned break? It's been something that's been ongoing and kind of a controversial topic, and been an ongoing discussion on how we want to handle that going forward, including an actual proposal here in the next couple of years to change the calendar to mimic the European calendar. So that's something that is definitely, we're going to see where it goes. There's a lot of different things that we could dissect with that as well, on the pros and cons of it. But specifically, we continue to go through just with fixture congestion and when the league runs, to make sure that everything is able to get into to fit into the season with the league year, with all the different competitions that MLS is participating in. So here's a couple of the teams that are gone. So Azuni is the player that Pix was referencing. So that's one of the designated players that came in. He's Albanian, so he's with the Albanian national team currently. But Austin's missing 4 players from international duty right now. San Diego FC is missing 2 with Annabelle Godoy with the Panamanian team. So he is playing, which we can talk about that too, but he will be out. And then Paddy McNair is also out on international duty with, I believe, Northern Ireland, I think is where he is from.
Yes, that is correct.
But then San Diego is also going to be missing Invertson, Lozano, and then Reyes as well. So
what is Reyes for?
Reyes has been out with a lower body injury pretty much for the entirety of the year.
Yeah. I saw that last time.
And then Austin is also missing Mikel Dessler with a hamstring. So this is not like full strength teams for either side. I did also kind of want to mention too, if you look at the standings and how jam packed the West is right now, Austin being all the way down in 10th, a win here would literally jump them up to second with the game in hand that they have right now. That's how close everything is. They're sitting on, I believe, what was it, 7 or 8 points or 6 points. Yeah, 6 points through 4 games. So getting a win here puts them up to 9. They would literally be ahead of LAFC on goal differential because they're matched with them right now. So that's how kind of just formed together all of this Western Conference is, with all the different teams that have played so far. I feel like there hasn't necessarily been a pattern of teams that have really gone out of their way to be consistent outside of maybe Vancouver, which I would even give them maybe a little bit of a pass with their most recent loss this week, with them dealing with the Champions League run that they've had to go on. So I think that even makes that more impressive. But yeah, it's anybody's game still in the West. There's not anybody that's really like fallen off outside of maybe I even think the Galaxy are still okay. It's KC with what they've looked like.
We're not last anymore. We're sitting
above. It was really big to get that point, to be honest.
It is a road point, like we said, because we kind of laid it out too for the Galaxy to get that 4 points out of those next like 3 games, I think is what we targeted. And I mean, a win here in your next game or two, and it's like with Payne still coming back, you guys are right back, where you're going to be fighting for a playoff spot within a couple games. It's not that big of an issue anymore, because nobody is running away with this thing, I think, is the biggest point to take away right now in the West. It is still anybody's game. And I think that's kind of the fun of MLS, because the parity is so from season to season is always present.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm excited to see how this game gets on. The international break players being gone, as well as injuries, provide really good context for what we might see today. But I don't know. I still think San Diego, this was a part of our, weekly predictions in terms of games. I went with San Diego picks. I think you went with San Diego as well. Biz, did you join us on the San Diego train, or did you do the tail is old as time draw choice for Biz?
Let me double check. I honestly forget, but I do think I probably rode San Diego, because
I don't know.
And we'd also love to hear too, guys, in the chat, who you guys support, whether it be in the Western or Eastern Conference. I think Cobra said he was a San Diego fan who came over from the YouTube page. Appreciate you, Cobra. Mariners, Otto, Cad. I'd love to hear if you guys do have a team. T. Bagley. Obviously, I'm an LA Galaxy guy. Pix is a New York NYCFC. Just kidding. New York Red Bulls fan. Biz is a Minnesota Loon. 2 Western Conference, 1 Eastern Conference. We'll be talking about the Eastern Conference a good amount during halftime, just because, a lot of these games we've been watching have mostly been Western Conference, so we do want to kind of, show love to Pix and his people over there on the some people call it the Beast Coast, but West Coast.
East Coast.
But yeah, the table's pretty interesting. St. Louis at 4th is kind of crazy. The St. Louis Roman Berkeys, as Pix put it.
Yeah. They've kind of made a comeback a little bit. I did take a draw. You guys know me too well.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Makes me sad. Also, what team's low-key, before I'm going to switch it over to the scoreboard pretty soon here, but a team that's looking just like they don't have it this season, maybe more so than the Galaxy, is Houston. Houston looked really bad against the Sounders yesterday, and the Sounders are just kind of all over the place as well to start the season.
Yeah, the Sounders are. I'll give my thoughts on both, because the Sounders are notorious for having slow starts. That's like been a thing here for honestly the last like 4 or 5 years, where they just, for whatever reason, come very slow out of the gates. But that mid-season, they get it in gear. I think a lot of it too has to do with that team usually is playing Champions League, so a lot of it is like the slow starts are usually coordinated with that. But yeah, Houston, I agree. I would say like probably the 3 teams right now that I think have been playing noticeably at a decline compared to the rest of the West has been Salt Lake, Houston, and Kansas City are the 3 that I'd point out that I would be already, as a supporter of those teams, a little worried with what things have looked like. I don't think there's anything identifiable about those teams that like really makes me think that they can turn it around without more players coming in. I think Salt Lake really just has like they're really saying a lot about Diego Luna and how great of a season he's had so far, but that's like about it. Houston really doesn't have even anything like that. It's just been that Jack McGlynn's been called in, and but I feel like they've obviously, with no Hector Herrera anymore, that team kind of feels like it doesn't have an identity anymore. And Kansas City, I mean, I'm still to this point just nauseous that Minnesota United dropped a 3-0 lead to that team, because that is absolutely one of the worst rosters that I have seen in MLS in a while. And I think I don't know how Peter Vermees has a job after last year, let alone how they've looked this year. I don't know if he's going to make it through the whole season. It is terrible, terrible to watch.
All right, so I'm going to get us over to the scoreboard. Otto's talking about that David Martinez missile from this past week. He scored his second goal of the season. Did you guys have a chance to see that? It was a pretty nice goal, to be honest.
What was the game again?
It was David Martinez, LAFC,
I did
scoring
live.
against. I don't think it was against Seattle. Who was it against?
I don't think I did catch that one.
If that's the one that if you're looking at, because he scored over the weekend, but I think he's referencing the one where he did the ball roll
the
that
goal.
we mentioned, on the full run. Yeah, I watched that live, Otto, and it is bananas.
Yeah, that was nasty.
David Martinez is for any of you guys that play Football Manager, it's a player that I've brought up on stream before on my stream. He is like, so I actually found out about him early on when we started doing my MLS owner save. And he's a player that was really making waves in the South American, like under 23. I think it might have been the Olympic competitions, like the qualifiers. And so LAFC got linked to him and then ended up bringing him in. And I remember somebody, I ended up scouting him, and in the owner save, he was amongst some of the highest potential ability players, because that's kind of how we sort it for players picking him for their teams and stuff like that in that save. And I think David Martinez on FM has like an 170 PA or something like that. It's insane.
That's
like,
actually, I did a player like spotlight on him for my YouTube page for shorts, because I was like, dude, this guy, people need to sign him. He is so OP for, any European league. He's ridiculous.
Yeah. He is very, very good player. And yeah, it's cool to see that he's getting more consistent time. And I think Cherundolo is getting to the point with how well he's playing now. Because they were only giving him like little cameos here and there. And it's a player that deserves time on the field. Like he gives them just like a whole. So the fact that you're going from Bouanga into him and then you have Under on the other side now, like that team is just so loaded with all this winger talent now. It's just going to be, the amount of depth that LAFC has with some of their signings with the under 23s is really impressive.
They just need a striker now.
They do.
They cannot rely on Drew as much as they would like to. I keep forgetting every time an MLS game is about to start. I'm like so keyed in on the actual starting time, and then it's always like 5
Oh no!
Yeah, we got probably another 15 minutes bare minimum. So we can probably. I mean, we mentioned with the topics we can probably go into. What was the thoughts on U.S. men's national team? I think we've been. Avoiding probably discussing it, but I don't know. Somebody hit me with a bold take on USMNT versus Panama, because
we just went brutal. Out sad. We just looked. It was just a sad performance. Like we couldn't create. It felt so weird because obviously Panama is going to play the entire game packed in. Wanting to get to extra time, wanting to play for penalties, but we couldn't break it down. I understand that like the big thing coming into this camp was who was going to score the goals, missing Balogun and Ricardo Pepi, and having to start Josh Sargent. But I would assume that we could, figure something out with maybe Tim Weah playing as a striker, dual striker type thing, Pulisic and Reyna both in. It was surprising that we didn't sub in Reyna, in the second half to bring some creative spark. He's definitely the type of player that we'd want to see in that role. And then we allow pretty much one shot on target, and we're not able to save it. Just turn off our brains for a little bit at the end. And Panama has been, like Biz, you've mentioned many a times, they have been a thorn in our side, during these games. So credit to Panama for playing their strategy very, very well, and U.S. just shameful performance. I mean. It's sad to say too. Ajaman had 2 great chances that he just completely that was disappointing. But yeah, Pix, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it was disappointing, and I think that some of what like Poch said post interview, I think sheds a lot of light, where he was kind of talking about the idea of like a lot of people playing but not necessarily earning their place. And I feel like and I think that there was also a lot of key injuries. I think Johnny Cardoso would have been able to provide a lot more too. And
Anthony too. Anthony's huge.
Exactly. Just a lot more just driving forward. And not even so much in the technicality, because obviously, the United States in their lineup have more technical players 1-for-1 against Panama. But I think Panama wanted it more, and you could see that, even in just their goal celebration. I think that the U.S. was expecting to win so much that they would have even I think if the U.S. had scored their goal and if you reacted the goal celebrations of the U.S. who were expecting to win, and Panama who obviously weren't expecting to win, but just how much drive there was until the 90th minute. There was, they didn't really create that many chances, but they still tried it. There was this really, really good chance that was marked offside that, I think that maybe a half second earlier, I think that he would have been able to make that run and kind of surprise and catch the U.S. with their pants down. And seeing that drive and seeing that, just really, really strong desire that Christensen has brought to Panama over the past 5 or so years, I think that has made Panama so much more competitive. And it's not so much about the technicality, but the drive, where it's like a lot of the U.S. was going in with just the expectation to win. And I think that that's kind of what got to them. And you could see that in the first 45 minutes where, they were just expecting, to win. There wasn't as much drive. They came out with a little bit more drive in the second half, but overall still not enough to actually, take it over.
Biz, what did you think?
Yeah, I think that's good points. And I'll answer one of the questions too before I give my thoughts. But and maybe you can actually give a little bit more, because I know you were thinking about going to this this game, but about the attendance itself. So I mean, from my understanding, that game started at like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. your guys' time. So I mean, that was
time, right in the middle.
Still right in the middle of a work day. So I mean, maybe give a little context on how hard is that in LA to be able to even get to a game like that?
I mean,
that time
people
of the
are
day?
not going to be able to get it to that game unless they literally. I mean, you can't really take a half day either, because if you're driving an hour plus away, which during LA traffic could be just like 15-20 miles sometimes. You can get stuck. It's hard. It's very expensive to park near the stadium. And to be honest, the tickets, even like that felt like empty in the stadium, were still relatively expensive. $100+ for tickets that felt like, that were struggling to be filled. But it was also, however, the tickets were technically like a double header. You buy the tickets and you get to stay for both games also. So the price could be a little bit higher, and people bought the tickets for the second game, not necessarily for the first game, Mexico, Canada, because at the end of the day, Mexico has a huge fan base in Southern California, just with the demographics of the state. So it makes sense. I think it's a little misleading in terms of how many U.S. fans were there, because it was a bad time for a game for them, and then also the doubleheader tickets. Mexican fans, Canadian fans could have taken those spots. But SoFi as a stadium, like I mentioned, is just a little bit hard to get into as well. So I think there's a couple factors, but we've seen it in the past. The U.S. men's national team doesn't always get the biggest draws unless it's like something super competitive. So I don't know.
No, I definitely agree, and I think that's completely fair too on what you had mentioned about, like, it's CONCACAF that's scheduling these games. I think that's like something that also kind of falls through the cracks on people, like maybe optically looking at from the outside in on what these games are actually like. CONCACAF's biggest priority is making sure that the seats sell. So they're not trying to kind of gerrymander like the spots of where a stadium is located just to, really make sure that U.S. fans are able to be prioritized. It's not like the U.S. Federation is handling this. They're trying to put it in a spot where they know that all of the tickets are going to sell based on the price point that we're trying to get gouged on, whether it is the U.S. Federation doing it for our national team games, or if it is for a whole CONCACAF entity like this, where all of these games for a CONCACAF Nations League game are being sold and facilitated. So I think that's important to know too. So CONCACAF's biggest priority is knowing that wherever the Mexican contingent is, it's not that they necessarily favor them, but they know whenever they plop a game down and there's Mexican fans nearby, that those tickets are going to get snapped up. So I think that's something that is why it was kind of strategized that way. And I think it makes a lot of sense that it looked like that for the U.S. because if you looked and watched the U.S. Panama game versus the Canada versus Mexico game, it was night and day what the attendance looked like between the two. So I think that's a
that Mexican
really fair
game
point.
was pretty epic. Raul Jimenez just heroics. That free kick to ice the game was just. That was cinema. I love to see that.
And those hits too. Those beautiful ass hits.
And then we didn't even talk about the way that Panama celebrated with Thierry Henry. They fucking swarmed him. It was so
an
funny.
all-time. An all-time celebration. CONCACAF removed, but that's an all-time celebration just that I've seen in the sport itself. It was freaking awesome. yelling in his face, telling him that he's his idol. Like, ended up getting a signed Arsenal Thierry Henry jersey out of it too.
Oh, that's so cool.
They said in the after.
And it felt like that goal was just like in slow motion because he dragged it across goal. Matt Turner was just so poorly positioned, and it just like went in so slowly, and we're just like all of our hopes being crushed.
Right, and I think that's where my personal take on the game itself would be. I think it was just kind of like a combination of all of these different things that are going against us in the player pool right now. And it's not necessarily an excuse, because I think even with like, taking away a fair amount of those starters, we should still be able to probably figure out a way to bring in players that can handle Panama. Because I mean, at most you're looking at players that have some European experience. Even if it's not any of those players and you're pulling from the MLS pool, I mean, it's like you're on a level playing field in a lot of capacity with some of those Panamanian players. So I don't think that there was ever like a way or a reality where I'm comfortable with that loss. I just think it's an egregious mark on the resume. But having said that, I don't think that any of that game itself, like I would give like 5% of the blame to Poch. And I feel like based on what I was reading on a lot of the social media stuff, I feel like that was not the common majority take on it. And I'm kind of to the point where I'm just like, I don't really understand how people are pulling anything else outside of that. It's just it's an effort thing on the players and execution at this point, because it's like we've seen Poch do it at a high level, higher than this national team this national team level of play, and has been successful in various different spots, at least to a level where he's regarded as being a top end manager in the sport. So it's I don't think that we can sit back and just keep blaming whatever manager comes in and we're not getting results in CONCACAF. We know that there's it is hard to get a result in CONCACAF. I think that's the biggest thing that we've kind of I think that anybody outside looking in can take away from this is, just because you're playing a team, like a Panama or one of the different island countries when you're going down and qualifying, and it's always hard to get a result on the road, it doesn't necessarily still mean that it's not taxing and not a job, because of how these teams set up. And a lot of these teams are just instantly playing for a draw. And I mean, you've seen it in the world of FM, even, where you have 4 or 5 XG and you get scored on with the one shot on goal. It's pretty much what just happened. I mean, U.S. men's national team just got FM'd. It is what it is. But
definitely.
I said, and my biggest takeaway, I'd probably say like my one sentence summary with this would be, Poch's tactical system, I felt like put us in a place to win, but we didn't win. It's like we just didn't execute after that. And I think like that's where across the board with it, I can kind of sit back and relax on it and just know that it was just one of those games, because Panama did not feel threatening up until that final 30-second stretch, really, at any point. I didn't feel like they were ever going to score. And then when it hit, I think that's why it was such a sinking feeling, because it was just kind of out of nowhere. It really did just kind of pop up off of like one singular misstep. And then all of a sudden it's Matt Turner, who hasn't played in a couple months and looked like it on that positioning, where it just like all of these things kind of like domino effect together, where it's just like with the player pool, it just results in a 1-0 loss to a team that you shouldn't lose to. And you just kind of throw your hands up and say it is what it is, I think, at the end of the day.
Well, hopefully we can execute better today in the third place game against Canada. And Cobra and Corn are also asking. Corn, welcome in, and thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate you. USL Pro Reg coming to the first division / second division, I think in 2028. And one interesting point of context before I kind of say that as well is that the Oakland Roots playing a home game in the Oakland A Stadium just put up the second ever highest attended game in, I think, domestic U.S. soccer leagues.
That's awesome.
Right behind that Cincinnati game from this season. And we'll talk about the Pro Rel a little bit. I'm just going to biz or picks if you want to talk about it. I'm going to hit the timer as soon as the game starts.
Yeah, because we're getting started here.
We're about to kick off. But welcome in, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. This is the second ever watch party on this channel. I think the fourth of our careers. The pod's been going well. We're about to record episode 5 after this, so we'll have some live reactions, in regards to all the stuff going on. But I hope you guys are all enjoying. Please definitely consider dropping a follow or subscribing to either of our channels. We're growing slowly. It's a grassroots pod, like a grassroots league that the USL is. So bear with us. But I'm just trying to time up this timer. Oh, right here, boom. That's gonna be perfect.
Yeah. So on the subject of USL, I think it's going to be so exciting to see, and I think it's going to be like there's nothing like seeing those relegation battles, and it's like
Ooh,
there's
yeah,
nothing
that was
like it in the
perfect.
US. So
Jesus.
it's like you're gonna have so many connections to these small teams, and just like I don't know many, like, there's a lot of places out west that I've never been to,
Mm-hmm.
and there's gonna be like a random team that I might start rooting for because they play
Yeah.
against my biggest rival in a relegation system. So it's gonna be just like super interesting to see how they kind of model it. I am very concerned about them being a little bit too ambitious.
How
Mhm.
expensive it's gonna be, the logistics
Yeah,
of it. Yeah.
exactly. I think that obviously we don't see any of the plans. We see these buzzwords of USL promotion relegation, and we all get excited about it. But we also
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
have to, tone it down a little bit, just and understand that the first season is obviously might not be what we want. But as long as we all, make a conceded effort to support
Ooh.
these local teams and everything, I think that that's the important part.
Austin with a quick corner kick. They had a chance right at the start of the game as well off the
Yeah.
kickoff.
Nervy as hell. What
Yeah.
the backline struggling. And I think that's the thing that you'll see too with this is these are both, I would like kind of rate the teams that Austin and San Diego have put out as like kind of being like they're like B plus teams for both, because you are missing some
Mhm.
players from international duty and injury. So it's kind of a duct taped team together with some of the players that are being put in for both sides. So I was looking at like the Bovada, and there's such an inflated like odds anytime you're looking at like money lines and stuff like that for home versus road
Mhm.
games. So it's like the
Right.
home team is always, even if it's like the last place team in MLS, it's probably going to at least be pretty close to being even money, just with how much of a influence like home
Sure.
home records have. So, but yeah, I mean, San Diego, I think it was pretty close to being like even money for them to be like plus 0.5. So like getting a draw is not out of the question for it, with
Oh
like
my
kind of how
God, a
the money
draw.
with how the
Dude,
money was
this
looking.
guy, this guy, he's not giving U.S. sports a good look by talking about
He's just
draws.
justifying the draw for
I
us.
know.
I'm willing it into existence. You guys just need to let it happen. This is where I make my comeback. But no, so pretty much though, I think it's more saying that this is going to be a little bit of like
Ooh,
it is like a
Vasquez in
50-50.
space. Oh wait,
Mhm.
are they calling that? That's pretty bad. Pulling on the jersey in a clear
What
cut
did
chance, possibly.
he carded him? What did he card him with? Just a yellow?
I didn't see
It was
anything. I
just a
mean,
yellow. They hit Vasquez into space, and I feel like it was just him and the goalkeeper. I don't think Vasquez was going to catch up to that ball, but the guy
Yeah.
kind of tripped him up.
So
oh
that's
wow, they are looking at it. I think.
that's a really good
A lot
player that
defender.
we can kind of highlight for those that might not know Austin too. So like kind of highlighting the Brandon Vasquez
Mm-hmm.
signing as well. So that was a player that was brought in as part of the big Austin FC overhaul of the amount of money spent over this offseason with Azuni. Bukhari was last year, and then Vasquez over this offseason. So for anybody not familiar with Brandon Vasquez, he played in Liga MX most recently with Monterrey, who signed him on a pretty big contract and a big pay raise from FC Cincinnati. He kind of made his national team debut with FC Cincinnati when he got there, and kind of like had been a player that had played in various locations in the MLS and kind of made a name for himself, where he kind of hit his stride in his mid-20s and kind of figured it out with FC Cincinnati's system, and then ended up getting what a lot of people were saying was going to be a European move, but he elected to end up going down to Monterrey
Yep.
just to play some Champions League stuff here locally, and also get that big, like honestly, like 3 times pay raise, because Liga MX doesn't have like any of the salary cap stuff. So I would say, what is your guys' overall personal insights on Vasquez? Are you guys super familiar with seeing him play? Like Dill, I'll start out with you, because I know me and you have kind of talked about Vasquez.
Yeah, no, I think
in
when he was
general.
hitting his stride in Cincinnati, I definitely looked at him a little bit more, and then when he was getting U.S. men's national team looks, that's kind of when I just added on to that a little bit. I think he's a very solid hold-up type striker that's kind of in between. He's like kind of a mix of like a Josh Sargent type striker, and then maybe like a Dill40k, where he's like a stronger guy who's probably average athletically, but just because he's so big, it kind of helps him out in the
Sure,
spaces.
yeah.
He holds the ball up well. He has a pretty solid shot, but I always felt like when we're kind of ranking the strikers that we can pull from, obviously Poch didn't bring him up for this window, so he doesn't really, in a window where we're missing 2 strikers, Pepe and Balogun, Vasquez doesn't get called up. I mean, the spot that got taken from him was that Ajame spot. Vasquez
Yep,
was in
yep.
the January camp, so I think it's just an idea that, he got outplayed there. I don't think Brian White necessarily took his spot because they kind of provide two different things in terms of a striker. And in Monterrey, I was surprised. He started off pretty hot for them and then kind of fell through, just kind of quieted down, wasn't playing as much. And it's interesting that he has come back to the MLS and that Austin FC valued him so highly to bring him back here. I was disappointed when he went to Mexico. I thought now was the time for him to go to Europe, and I was hoping for that. I kind of always hope for that for some MLS players, just because I think it's exciting in terms of development and storyline, and kind of gives us a better look in terms of what the league is. But I don't blame players for going to Liga MX, where they can, like you said, triple their salary and stay relatively close to home compared to moving over to Europe. Pix, what do you think? You have any thoughts on Vasquez?
Yeah, so they're in Club World Cup, right? Monterrey.
Yeah. So
yes.
So
Monterrey
I think it's really telling the fact that they didn't keep him on for Club World Cup, and the fact that they were willing to offload him. I think that he did start off to a good start of the season, but then he started to. I don't think he started to play as much, like closer to at the end of the season.
No, he wasn't. It was a lot of playing at the start, and then totally.
So it's a shame that it's unfortunate that he went over there and then he couldn't really find his ground. So that it's kind of like having to return in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I think that if he had stayed at Cincinnati, I think that would have been a better idea for him and for his career overall than going to Austin, which is still, a question mark in a sense. I think obviously Cincinnati is a much more strong team.
Well, the other thing too that I'll interject two picks, just to kind of add some context as well. I think the big thing that Monterrey specifically too kind of had their arm twisted a little bit, because if you remember, he signed it was a $10 million transfer fee. So that was something too that I think, like, with Austin trying to be a little bit more ambitious in because they were coming off of a really poor season and wanted to, drop in all of this money for a couple of these attacking designated players. So Vasquez was able to kind of keep a similar salary that he was able to get in Liga MX under a designated player rule that he wasn't necessarily getting with FC
Interesting.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I hadn't realized the amount of money that they had spent on him.
But yeah, so he was one of the big signings with them, with him, Azuni, and Bakari. I mean, we had mentioned that Austin has spent over $30 million in their attack, which is for MLS teams. I mean, that's something that is, that's a top end. One of the top end transfer windows that I can remember from facilitating like one window. I think it was Azuni and Vasquez this window, and then Bukari late in the previous window. So spending that type of money on your attack is not something that you see all the time, at least in that quick of a segmented amount of time. Atlanta United just recently did it too. So we're starting to see some teams starting to like splurge a little bit. But I think the other thing that you can make an argument too with like how Vasquez has performed and the points that you made, you kind of do see that maybe the issue is when you're spending those types of amounts of money too with MLS teams, that maybe it's been a little bit of an uncharacteristic thing for Austin to do over time. It starts to get a little worrisome when you're maybe overspending for a player like Vasquez that has proven that he can do it in a system like Cincinnati, but then went down to Monterrey and maybe a little bit of a more competitive league, and then struggle over time where it was a little bit more inconsistent and maybe it wasn't as much of a. So I think that raised some eyebrows with that price tag, because now you're kind of in the you have to do it role here at Austin. Like you're the guy. Like for $10 million, you need to be scoring 15 to 20 goals in a season. Like that needs to be your role. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that goes. But I do think he's an interesting player, and that's definitely an interesting storyline to follow with Austin specifically too.
How old is he, by the way? Does he still have a potential way into the U.S. national team? Maybe not for this World Cup, but in the future.
He does.
He's
and speaking
26.
of him, he's running free right now.
Oh,
1-0.
wow.
Oh, nice little ball roll from Vasquez.
That's what we're talking about, though. So calling him out, and those are the types of things, man. But yeah, he's 26 picks, so he's right in his prime. But yeah, that was pretty
Awesome.
I didn't see who played that ball, but that was beautiful.
Yeah, coming into this season, or into this game, so this is his first goal of the season right there. So
that's perfect.
Yeah. And that's definitely kind of, I think, why I was highlighting him too, because it has been a bit of a slow start, especially with some of the teams they played. I mean, if you actually look at it,
Southern
overall,
California auto for us.
You're looking at Sporting Kansas City and Portland in his first two games.
Nice.
And now San Diego. So it's like you would have expected him maybe to get a goal out of the gates, especially with a full starting designated players beside him. So
That was the ball that they kind of tried to play him in when the yellow card was picked up, and that
It was,
defender
yeah.
who was marking him was the one who got the yellow card as well. But yeah, first goal for Brandon Vasquez. He's hyped up.
That's crazy. There's like a like a retro Austin kit in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
This club is like how old, Biz?
It's a newer expansion side than Minnesota is. I can tell you that. So
Yeah, what, like 2018 maybe?
yeah, 18 or 19.
that's
I want to say
new
it's
vintage.
been around like 5 years. Something like that,
Yeah,
4 or
right,
5
Now,
years.
now do we see Austin FC pack it in a little bit? San Diego was playing a pretty high line on that.
That's the question that I was raising in the beginning of the
Yeah.
show. It's whoever gets the early goal is going to dictate the sort of style of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see if Austin continue to attack or if they kind of go back a little bit and drop their line a little bit.
And it felt like before that goal too that San Diego was controlling the tempo of the game a little bit better as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, they definitely were. Yeah,
had the control, and then they just kind of turn it over, and it's a good ball in. So, yeah, really impressive from Vasquez. That's the type of thing you want to see from a guy like that. Obviously, like we said, we don't want to see strikers messing up one-on-one opportunities. It's not a good look for the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm happy, especially for a $10 million player. You can't. That's what you're literally paid to do that.
Yeah, those are the types of chances too that I think like start to, stick in your head
Yes,
long term
if
too
you
when
miss
you're in a
those.
goal drought.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that make you start to think about the touches when they're, incoming and not playing as instinctual, and you start to think that you haven't scored because those are the things, man. It's perception based when you have that big price tag tied to you too. That's why not everyone can do the striker stuff, because it's like you start hearing the outside murmurs from, the media or the fans, and you start to put a little bit more pressure on yourself that you need to put the ball in the net. So that's big for him to be able to get off the schneid with that one specifically, because you really do need to. Good build up there
nice
from San Diego.
Dill40.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, just hit it. I noticed on one of
Yeah.
the balls before that, they tried to play it over to the top to, I don't know if it was the right wing or whatever right side attacking player, and the 10 kind of jumped up and got in the way of it. Like,
Yeah,
I
he
think he
kinda
thought the
blocked
ball was for him.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like the Austin FC kits. I like that green color. One thing I don't like about, I feel like San Diego with their first ever kits played it so safe, black and white. And
They
just,
did.
like,
I agree.
nothing.
Yeah.
It just feels like a AI generated like color scheme for a new team. Like nothing
Yeah,
about
not a
it.
fan at all.
Like the colors are nice. They do look nice, but they don't really represent the city that well, I feel like.
And that's why I'm really excited for, if anyone doesn't know, that Adidas is actually
Oh, yeah,
releasing
auto.
third kits for everybody. And the big thing is that they're going to have like so much room for experimentation. Like I think Toronto is doing a maple, like a maple syrup kit.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see, I
It's
saw
al-
like some snow for RSL or something like that. Maybe
It's
a
also
lot of cool stuff like that.
It's interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the MLS is the type of league where all the kits are sponsored by the same sponsor.
Yeah, they're all Adidas. Yeah.
And what trips me out too is all the goalkeepers where like they all wear like the 4 same colors or the 3 same colors.
they really do.
That kind of bothers me. I don't really
I'm
like
not
that.
a fan of that at all.
It trips me out. And then, but yeah, it is interesting because they can do these whole league-wide campaigns in terms of kits, like you're saying, Pix, which I think is really cool. It almost feels like the kits feel like a collection as opposed to, but that's for better or for worse, I guess, because
It depends what you want. A lot of people, I was reading a little bit about the discourse on it, because a lot of people also don't like how like there isn't as much room for experimentation with it and stuff like that once you have like,
it's a
because they're all
closed loop.
Adidas templates at the
Yeah,
end of
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like the Adidas templates, like if you look at any Adidas goalkeeping kits internationally, like they're all the same colors.
Yeah.
Or not the same colors, but all the same design with
Yeah.
different colors. And
Ooh.
just like that's so boring.
Another yellow for San Diego early. Dill40k now with one.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting how they attack going forward as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Seattle Sounders kits are great. Up the Mariner says, is there a story behind the 2 badges? San Diego, I don't think so. It almost reminds me of like they tried to do like some geometrical wave type stuff and made it into like some weird shape. And then Austin FC's, I'd have to look. I don't remember what they.
Yeah, San Diego did because I did a lot of research for one of the pod episodes with them being an expansion side. They did anything else like us. Oh my goodness. That was nervy from Stu over there. But they did anything like a normal expansion side would do, where they like, all the colors and all the little like individual sectors, they have like, this means this is supposed to represent this. So they have that. If you like go on their site, you can actually figure out what it is, but there's not like any, specific rhyme or reason. Cause I mean, it's a brand new team that came out from, not having any USL history or anything like that. That's actually what we talk about in the podcast with them. about
Oh.
the controversy with them and the San Diego Loyal, with the team that already existed with USL, and there was a lot of controversy with this team out of the gate with the big MLS expansion fee and whatnot. So
I want to point out Corin's message in regards to kits as well, because that kind of gives us some good context for maybe Adidas, as a company with kits. Detroit City switched to Adidas this year, and I've heard they were far more limited design, but they also picked a simple home kit that they can sell replicas $20 cheaper and reduce the cost for all the kids on the youth team. So
Yeah, just templates and you put on the badge, I imagine.
yeah,
I see.
I mean, I don't know. Have you guys bought Adidas kits for your teams recently? Because I know they have they have the standard edition, and then they have like the nicer edition, which they is higher quality. It's a little thicker. Not everything's screen printed. Some of more of the stuff is sewed on, but it's like a $60 difference in kit.
Yeah, I have the real one on right now for Minnesota United
flex.
that I actually got on. It was like on sale that I
Okay.
got last year, because they whenever they release a new one, then like on the actual site they'll do like a clearance code that you can get if you pay attention and look out for it. So I got it I think probably, I don't know, $60-$70 cheaper than it would normally be, which when it was that cheap, I was like, oh, I might as well just get it, because I liked the simplicity of this. This was, I think, 2 years ago.
I like that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, back before we were getting too crazy with all of our, the Aurora kit and our current one that has been nicknamed lovingly by a lot of people as it's called the Wave kit, but a lot of people think it looks like something different if you go in the MLS subreddits.
It still trips me out every time when they show the coaches just how casually dressed they are every single time. Just like Mikey Barras in a pocket tee, looking like a late 2000s hipster.
Our coach does that too with the fucking trucker hat.
Yeah,
Dude,
don't get started on the trucker hat, though.
I love a good trucker hat for Mr. Sandro.
Otto says, unironically, the Umbro England kits were better than
Dude,
Nike
they were
England
so good.
kits.
They were so good. I have an Umbro England polo.
Okay, let me ask you this though. Is that just I feel like sometimes, yes, that is people's opinion, and oftentimes, it's probably, it's true because it's your opinion, but how much of that has to do with nostalgia? Are we going to look back in 10 years and be like, oh, I like the first year San Diego kits because, we just remember that time? And
I think I'm going to like them. I think I'm going to like them just because they were simple enough. They didn't do anything stupid with them. But I'm not going to be like, oh, they tried to push the needle. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is, I think, what you need to do in an expansion side to appeal to as many people.
Yeah.
But especially the fact that they chose black and white, it's like,
yeah. And if you have a third
and
kit,
full black, full white, there's no stripes or anything.
Bro, what is going on? These guys keep running into each other.
Yeah, I thought
they're
they
letting
were
them
gonna start
play
fighting or
too, which is
something.
crazy.
It's weird
That's why I
because
stopped the
in one
sentence.
of the collisions, the ref really he sprinted over there very frantically. It was almost panicked that they were gonna fight or something. Another long ball.
Oh no! Oh no!
That was a terrible
right
shot
into
by Vasquez.
Bro, you had that. You just lift it. Oh my god.
But it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, where it's Vasquez bodied him a little bit to undo this keeper. A lot of strikers, when they talk about playing at the top level, it could be as much as just pushing your center back 1 second before you make your run to make them throw off the pace, and you catch them off guard for a second. And Vasquez did that to a T.
Build up. San Diego really liked that. They play it into their 10 and then their 8, and then they have one of their wings, both their wings kind of inverting, and it gives you 4 different options.
But Austin are really, really closing.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh wow!
Sides, really?
Oh my!
Oh, it's like that.
The goalkeeper.
I mean, the quick start. The quick start is what they're bitching about too, because literally, I mean, he picked it up and
he did not.
Ref didn't make him stop at all. Dude was just continuing his run.
And
I mean, I've seen that. I've seen that called back before. That's oof.
Corin, Mariners. We did watch the U.S. game the other day, and we're not happy about it. I'll say that. They play again at 3 p.m. Pacific time against Canada. The Cobra says GG. Yeah, believe in your boy Dreyer. I believe. They just got a. I mean, they're playing such a high line. Let's see. Was the ball moving? It was completely stopped. That guy was so dumb. Why did he do that? He could have kicked it away. Oh, the San Diego player.
The 2 San Diego players here that just are.
Look how he stopped.
Was that Wolf? Yeah, Wolf coming up and playing that right away was honestly.
Wolf's been having a really good season to start.
It's a good.
Yeah, no, I would let that stand.
Yeah, that looked good to me. That looked good to me.
I feel bad for the keeper though. It's just got done by his this decision making of the people in front of him. There wasn't much
Yeah,
he could do
now
there.
2-0 down at home for a team that, I mean, this is the first time they've scored 2 goals in the
Yeah,
league, and it's
Yeah,
within
quickly.
20 minutes off 2 very direct counterattacks. I mean, their 4 best chances have all come from very direct through balls. Other than that Vasquez one where he didn't like chip it over, but
It's been run-ons through the channels just
yeah.
consistently too, where the balls are just coming through in between the two center backs. I'm
yeah,
surprised that San Diego's decided, like scouting wise, for this game too, with what's going on, that they are playing such a high line, because
I know it is
with
bizarre.
what you kind of know about Austin.
Yeah, they're playing right into exactly what Austin plays. They just try to pass,
Mm-hmm.
just cut out your entire midfield and just pass right through it, like with one ball.
yeah. It's very worrying for San Diego because it's
Yeah.
2 goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna have to change
That's
up
a good
their
ball.
style.
As a Galaxy fan, I hate this. I hate that San Diego's losing. Dang. Dryer hatchet. I'm an unofficial fan. What will make you an official fan, CG? You haven't heard that San Diego are the Birmingham of California? I've heard that many times.
It has been
Yes,
said
It has been said.
on this
Yes.
watch
by
party
me, one time.
just now.
Yes. That's funny.
Now, I will say too, just kind of a random thought, but I definitely, every time I watch an Austin game, I think they have a top end supporter section in MLS.
They do.
I was about to
It's
say,
very-
yeah,
do.
you can
It's
see that right
very,
now with the
very
Ubers and
active.
everything.
I love anytime they score a goal.
Look at the fans behind dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah, dancing. You got
They're
the horn
hitting that.
section. I remember when I did some research on, we would do like some PowerPoint presentations on my own streams way back when, for like, I did like a segment where it was like a certain, like once a week I was doing like which MLS team should I support. I did that like early on in some streams. And I remember when I did the research for Austin, that was the biggest thing that stood out, was the couple supporter section groups that they have. But then on top of it too, like some of the stuff that they do to make it feel, I think, bigger too, where they, during a night game, they always like do the green lights over the whole thing whenever they score a
Ooh.
goal, because they're called the Verde,
oh yeah,
which I think is really cool. I think that's like a really nice touch. They're constantly, I think the, like I said, the different supporters groups too, where you have some Mexican supporters contingent there too, where you're getting a little bit of the different chants throughout the games too, which is unique because not every team has that. Where you I think, diversity in the supporters group, where it's like it's actually bleeding through to the supporters group, which I think is kind of fun.
I feel
So,
too, with such a like young and vibrant city in Austin, it feels like just another extension of a thing to do in Austin, because
and the other
I don't
big thing
think
is
they
that
have other.
there's no
I'm
there's
looking
no
at
other
it.
sports team, so
Yeah,
that's another thing for a lot of people who aren't from the States. This is the only sports franchise for a couple hours drive, right? So
yeah.
Exactly.
so it's like this is their first time that they actually have something that represents the city. And Austin has always been a city that like tries to stray away from
Mhm.
everything else and try to take their own road. So the fact that they've been able to have a team to be able to do that is really good for the city.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, like they're competing with the what do we have here? The Austin Torch, the ultimate frisbee team founded in 2019.
Of course.
The
of
Austin
course.
Gamblers, the bull riding team founded in 2022.
A timeless classic.
The Austin Outlaws, the quad ball, 5-time
I think I have a
champions.
jersey of theirs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
Dynasty over there.
But no, I
But
feel like Austin
another
FC
big thing that
games
they
are just
do is another big thing that they do is that they do amazing tifos. Probably one of the best tifos in
Yeah.
the league.
I agree.
Like top 3 maybe. If you have time, like looking over some of the tifos that they've done are really, really worth looking at. And then they also use it as a way to show what Austin's about. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that this is kind of like one of the good stories about what a soccer team can do to a city. And hopefully San Diego are able to replicate what Austin have been able to do, because I think that San Diego could kind of use Austin as a guide, as a fellow expansion team.
Feels like Austin are really funneling San Diego into the wings, and they don't really care about that, and they're just kind of putting a bunch of bodies in the middle of the box to stop the four-play. That was weird. The four-play. That was terrible from Dill40k. From the 4 players, converting on the midfield. Like the right wing back for San Diego has been all over the ball, but I feel like that's what they want. What's his name?
Definitely a style of
Camaro?
play since we've seen them a couple times now. that I noticed the first time we watched them too.
Mhm.
Pix, I was going to mention to you too. We haven't heard anything out of you for Thomas on Hell that's starting up top. I thought that was going to be like point
Oh,
number one today. Your
I
boy.
didn't even realize. Yeah. Well, he hasn't been able to do too much.
Mhm.
To be fair, I think he's got maybe one start this year. He's been kind of
Yeah.
substitute
Well, no.
cameos.
I meant in this game. I didn't
Yeah,
realize he was starting. But yeah, he already got his goal. From what I remember, it was a pretty like scrappy goal. But yeah, the thing
Yeah, he
about
scored
Thomas,
no. Did he? No, he assisted in the opener, right?
I think he
Yeah, he had
assisted
that nice
and then
on the
he
counter
scored,
that we.
maybe.
Yeah, because didn't he have that nice pass on like the counter? Wasn't that what it
Oh
was?
yeah, and then he
Yeah,
scored. I
yeah,
think maybe a match day or two after that, because
yeah,
I do know that he
yep.
did score, because I was
Jesus.
surprised.
They are just battering these guys in the midfield.
Yeah, I know. This one's getting a little feisty.
I like it. I like it.
This is what we want to see, especially from an expansion team. I want these rivalries to start. I think that one of the unfortunate things is that we're so early on in the season, but I was talking to Benny earlier, and I think that one of the biggest things about the MLS is that playoff matches is where rivalries are made.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
And
No,
like,
agree
I
with
don't
that.
know, like if this had been a playoff game, I think that we would have started to see even more flares start, popping up. But even more so, we'll have more history for San Diego, and I think San Diego are going to make it to the playoffs ultimately. So seeing who they face in the opening stages and stuff like that are going to be interesting.
I wonder who Minnesota will face in the playoffs as the 3rd seed against the 6th seed.
Remains to be seen. I'm excited to see who our 6th place opponent will be.
Biz, we were wondering now that Yeboah has scored 4 goals.
Oh yeah, we're talking.
How many goals until you don his name on your back and you wear another grown man's name on your back? Which are so
I said
against.
if he gets to 20 this year, I will buy a Yeboah jersey.
I like that.
Ooh, okay.
You should. Well, what you could do is you can make it kind of like if you don't want to wear the name, you could do Yagola, on the back. And then do 20 instead of 9 or how many goals he scored.
Oh!
That was a nice pass. You're ahead. What an idiot. Oh my god. Was that a deflection? Please tell me that was a deflection because the goalie, he like broke his own legs.
I think it was, yeah.
He hit
What am I ahead of you guys? Oh yeah, I am ahead
you
of
are
you guys.
ahead of you. You're doing that picks thing.
What's your time right now, Dill? I'll pause it for a little bit.
27:15.
I'm not too far ahead of you, I don't think.
Yeah, you're like always like 5 seconds on the
Okay, I'll pause it a little bit here.
That's okay.
I'll wait for the timer to come
Let me
back up.
see. That was for sure a deflection.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, dude,
it's hindsight.
he hit the stanky leg.
Dude, that sucks. That looks
That's
so bad.
such a bummer. Oh my god.
This game's been fun.
Yeah,
2-1, 30 minutes in.
This is not the game we were expecting from Austin FC's last 4 score lines. Well, you did expect San Diego to pepper them, and they have. There's been a couple chances. Austin obviously have had more chances, but the midfield is kind of a bloodbath for both these teams. There's a lot of grabbing in the midfield.
Much in there. There's just so much in the midfield. Like they're both trying to overload and dominate the midfield.
Yeah,
somebody want to give me a if somebody want to give me a count on the timer really quick, I'm gonna try to sync it up quick.
Yeah, you got it. You got it, Dill. I'll go off of you. What time are you at, Dill?
I'm at
28:14.
Oh, you're good. You should just keep it then.
16.
We're at the right time together.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I didn't think I was too far ahead of you.
No, it's okay. You just see into the future.
I know. I was pulling picks.
Have a bad weekend,
dude. What was that? Oh my gosh. You give up one goal.
This is kind of what I was expecting from Austin, though, because they are missing some of their key defensive cogs now with this international break.
Yeah.
So I figured that there would be a little bit of some nervy times in this one. And, that first goal that was just scored, I would probably put that on the back line.
Yeah.
For Austin, against.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Back to number 2 again. Jesus.
It's going to be interesting to see if either team switches their play style now that both have had both goals scored and goals conceded. I think San Diego are going to have to switch their high line a little bit. I think it's helping them create chances, but I think it gets punished way too much by Vasquez. Because Vasquez is bodying a lot of the center backs too.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
It's so dirty. I feel bad. That shot came in with a lot of pace, though. It's not much you could do with the deflection. It's our boy, Dill40k.
Cobra says 2-2 draw. CG said draw. You guys are quicker and quicker. The chat is coming around to the draw.
God.
Love to see
What a
it.
crazy prediction when it's 2-1. Come on, guys. We want I want a San Diego win for my prediction. Del Torre in? Nope.
Yeah, I need it as well.
Ooh,
Here we go.
dude, Tverskov has been so good this year. I love how he plays in the defensive midfield. He was somebody that really stuck out when we watched the Galaxy game with San Diego picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
something I was
Oh,
looking
no,
at is
yeah,
that a lot of the defenders don't really get the same amount of love. Like I feel like obviously like a lot of the DPs are attack focused, but even then
Mhm.
when you think about players on MLS teams, so much of the emphasis on the attacking pieces.
Dude, all that matters is goal contributions, duh. It makes your rating go up.
Yeah, Tverskov just dropping like some awesome games, and he's just rocking a solid 6.7 on Foot Mob, despite being one of the most important players on the field. Gotta love those match ratings. But no, he really has stood out, and I think like that's something that does fall by the wayside. Because I know you're mentioning it tongue in cheek, but you are kind of right, Dill. I mean, like it's something that does get
Yeah, of
glossed
course,
over a
yeah.
lot
It's such an
in
offensive
MLS.
league too. It's like
Where it's like some of the best players that I think if you actually ask like individual fan bases about like some of the most important players, I mean, think about like what Seattle would have to say about like Ozzy Alonso over time and like how important he was. I mean, I can say the same thing even in the couple of years he played for us at the age that he was at in his like mid 30s at the point. He was so pivotal in making our team like he was one of the key cogs that like helped fix our defense with how bad it was at the start of our inauguration into the league. Like having a presence like that is just so important in a really in a counterattacking and fast-paced league. It's one of those things that I think does get forgotten often, that it's so important.
San Diego's triangle passing, like in the build-up up the middle,
Yeah,
is
picking
really
it
impressive.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. It's not working as much because of the midfield being overloaded.
But just
Yeah,
look
they
at
play
that.
pretty
Look at
ball,
that.
man.
They have
They
like
do play
4
pretty ball.
guys, like all.
You have to do a foul in order to try to break it down.
Yeah. And then Austin's just sending out like through balls right through all of that.
Yeah.
Opposition. It's cool. It's nice
Specifically
to
with
see.
missing people too.
Yeah. It's just nice to see 2 different styles of play going up against each other. Owen Wolf, that's Tyler Wolf's brother, right? They're brothers. The Wolf
Correct.
brothers.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So
Wolf Bros. Dad's
dogs.
Josh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who used to coach at Austin.
Yeah,
they
I remember that.
So they replaced him. So that's something we haven't brought up too. Was Nico Estevez took over, who was the FC Dallas manager as of last year. And Estevez was kind of like he was kind of perceived as being like this like hot commodity coming in. He was involved with like the Valencia in Spain, their like youth academy, and like kind of helping build that up. So that was something with when Dallas brought him in that they really wanted to kind of help him kind of like keep doubling down on Dallas being known for their youth academy. I mean, that's the team that's brought Weston McKinney into the into the soccer world, and some other key cogs too. Pepe obviously came out of there as well. So it's like you have some really good names that have come out of the Dallas academy, but they wanted to bring in somebody that would facilitate that going into the actual senior team as well, and it just didn't work. He wasn't getting the actual results, with the senior players like right out of the gate. So they moved on from him, and I think Austin's trying to hope that they can strike gold, and maybe just a change of scenery helps them. But I was not with what Dallas was towards the end. I mean, like how he was using Ferreira, and I just think that he was not getting the best of the team even remotely. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like with Austin long term, because I don't know. With what I saw, it's one of those things where it's like I've seen people like Ben Olsen is a good example at Houston, where he kind of figured it out, and he had a really bad tenure over, I think it was with DC United beforehand. But it's like sometimes coaches can figure it out moving from one spot to another. But he didn't give me anything with Dallas to make me think that like this is going to work with Austin. But they're giving him the resources.
I would say, Otto, the only coach that comes to mind is like a Wilfred Nancy at Columbus, because he's been able to make it work with a lot of different groups of personnel over the years. I don't know, any other coaches you think are as important to a club as Wilfred Nancy over the years, Biz? Have been there for a good amount of time. I feel like when you're able to have success with different iterations of a team over 5, 6, 7 years, that's when you really see how important a coach
Definitely.
is. It's hard to say in short term.
Yeah. I mean, Nancy's definitely the pinnacle right now, I think, in MLS for sure. And he's turned down even some French league interest to start the year. But yeah, he's definitely kind of like the one that sticks out. I'd say maybe like Schmetzer at Seattle. It would be like maybe the other one. Vanny for the Galaxy is very good as well, because he's done it in multiple spots as well, and which is really hard to do. He was a part of the Toronto FC runs before they've kind of hit the skids and been pretty poor. So there's a few that exist right now, but yeah, I think the ones that are really good do stand out. It's just that it's kind of few and far between compared to maybe some of the other leagues where it's like, if you're comparing it to like the Prem, where like most of the coaches are really, really solid.
But they have to put in so much, just like they are guys before they even can sniff the Prem. That's the difference.
Correct. Yep.
MLS is kind of like the step.
It is apples and oranges, but
yeah, which is why it's so surprising that we still have a guy like that coach still being around, in Wilfred Nancy, and being able to keep him. And I think that it also is because Columbus do give him a lot of liberty.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he needs. And that's what like one of the issues that I think the Red Bulls have is that we have a style that like you have to fit into. And if you have a guy like Jesse March who can really like adapt to it, then it's really good. But
we were just talking about that, Mariners. We were talking about maybe some of like the key coaches and how they have affected clubs or cultures, as opposed to kind of the newer guys.
But we are starting to see a shift more. Like Sandro came over from the Bundesliga from like, a pretty mid-table side. So it's like we are starting to see a little bit more coaches, and it's a little bit different, obviously, because it's Red Bulls. So we have that German and Austrian connection.
Yeah. Well, it's also like they kind of contrasts is what type of situation would Wilfred Nancy leave to? Maybe if he's getting offered in the French league, is it that type of mid-table like French league team, or is he waiting for like a top, a European contender who's fallen from grace or something like that? Like,
and Columbus right now is one of the best teams in North America.
Yeah,
and that's fighting for those, CONCACAF Champions League, and
that's a big move too. That's
MLS.
not like moving from European club to European club. You're going from the United States to Europe. Like, I feel like people discount that a lot of times.
Exactly. And then you might even, regret it where you move to France and then you're not able to do what you want to do with, the teams that you have there.
I know, you just don't know. And, what he's created at Columbus is so special. I think, the more that we talk about it, I just think the opportunity has to check a lot of boxes. It can't just be like, the grass isn't going to be greener. It's just going to be a different shade. I feel like, unless you're going to like some big ass team, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're seeing the landscape change, I think, with MLS coaching too, with like the priority and the reasoning for some coaches coming here too, which I think is kind of cool. I think like Minnesota United's a really good example with a coach that profiles like Eric Ramsey, where
he was a coach, right?
He was a coach actually he started in various roles, but he's a Welsh football manager that had kind of worked his way up through a couple different Welsh teams and then worked his way into the Prem. And then actually, by the time we signed him, he was on the Manchester United bench at the time had stayed on and had been retained through, I think, 3 different managers through the kind of the Man U turmoil that they were dealing with at the time. So he was he was beloved in that locker room it sounded like he was like the key person that would chat, because he's bilingual too. I think he's like trilingual. He can speak like 3 different languages. I think he can speak like French and Spanish, and so it's like he was able to communicate with like Casemiro and stuff like that. So he was like kind of the direct contact and
I think
coach that
he speaks 4 languages, right? He speaks ball as well, right?
Yeah, he does. That's true. Honestly,
quadlingual. Definitely not how you say it, but sorry, I didn't mean.
But I got to take a Duolingo course on ball.
There's more jokes,
but no,
we'll think about them.
There is, and you guys are exactly right. So it's why we had to make sure to.
That's why we had to cut you off for 2 silly jokes.
No, it had to be brought to light, though. Letting everyone know that he knows ball is.
Can we talk about a little bit? How do you feel about this biz? San Diego FC's jerseys that they are currently wearing look a lot like Minnesota's old white jerseys. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's very reminiscent. The blue is slightly different shaded. Maybe they just gave him those designs and said, I don't know, does that rub you the wrong way?
Old templates, just using it like from the old copy bin.
They have to gain Adidas XP to unlock new templates.
Dude, that's the issue. We're gonna have more and more teams. We're gonna start running out of colors.
The 2K store.
Yeah, exactly.
with my V coins.
Do we have like a pure purple team?
Orlando.
Not it.
Oh, okay. Orlando. Good
Yeah,
call.
Orlando.
You're right.
Orlando. That is actually a good call because I wasn't going to think about them.
Yeah, Orlando is purple and gold.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically, too, it's actually the owners of the Minnesota Vikings. So I've always thought that was kind of,
Oh.
which it didn't start that way. So it's almost just kind of like a happy accident that it was like that.
Yeah.
But
Orlando should have just like fully embraced like Disney wildness and just gone like insane, like multicolored Fantasia. Also, this ball, I just saw this guy was Vasquez was so in on this line.
Oh
Both of
my.
the attackers were. They're crazy, dude. I cannot believe they're continuing to play this way. They had
yeah,
both of their
they need to get to
strikers up
halftime.
top had the like look at how they're placed on these defenders. They both had leverage on them.
Yeah,
Like fully.
I mean, Vasquez is eating this guy alive. That's the left center
Oh my
back for San
God.
Diego.
And he has a
It's
yellow
gotta
as
be
well. He
fast,
can't do
man.
anything about
It's
it.
brutal.
You don't get to the U.S. men's national team by passing picks.
That's true.
What are you saying?
Poch is here watching.
Yeah, Poch is definitely not watching this game. Is it true Messi wasn't playing because it was too cold, or was that just a rumor?
He did end up playing in that game. That rumor came out. That was the Champions League game. But yeah, to be fair, that one, because I was critical of that too if he didn't. But they all ended up playing in that. Actually, it was that Kansas City first leg of the Champions League in like the opening round.
Yeah, super cold.
Okay. Before halftime, I'm gonna bring up a different subject. Me Picks and Biz have started a Switzerland online league in FM. We're with the 3 worst teams in the Swiss second division.
All semi-pro too.
All semi-pro as well. So if you guys have any tips for Swiss league management or who you think is
we're
going
gonna need
to
them.
do the best of the 3, I'm playing a team that wants to sign Italians. Pix is playing a team that just wants Swiss guys. That was a crazy collision. And then Biz is a team that only wants to, not only, but like Club Vision is signing domestic rival players, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys ever played in Switzerland, we'd love to hear about that experience. None of us, I hadn't played in it. Had you guys played in it ever before?
Never in FM. No.
No, I'd never played in the Swiss League.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I didn't realize when we picked it as a 36-game season that was not on my bingo card. But, we'll get through it eventually. All right, good corner opportunity before half for San Diego. I mean, since that San Diego goal, outside of that last Vasquez attempt, it feels like San Diego has kind of taken back control of the game.
Yeah. But I think Austin is extremely dangerous off the counter. I think that's where they're really able to do a lot.
Oh, wow!
Oh my
that's
God.
your boy picks. Negative aura points.
Jeez, that's embarrassing. His
Just-
dad's probably watching.
He flopped like a little salmon, dude. Genuine. I did not hear his remarks, Otto. What did he say about the Spurs? Is that why he threw the Panama game so he could get to our Dude, I think Andrew's gonna get fired in the summer. And I'm like fully convinced now that they're gonna use him as a scapegoat for the injuries.
Poch just wins this game. He takes off his shirt. It says Poch in, Ange out.
If they somehow win Europa, do you think you would keep? Even if you won that?
Spurs have like they've fired Mourinho before a cup final before, so it's like I don't really think
it makes a difference.
No.
The other big thing is Athletic Club are still in the Europa. I have them as my favorite because Nico Williams just put out a big interview about like really wanting to stay at least for another season, and like they won the Copa del Rey 2 seasons ago. This is the team that only signs bass players.
Yes.
They won the Copa del Rey 2 seasons ago, and the celebrations were crazy. If they won the Europa League, which would be their first continental win, the streets of Bilbao would be insane. Insane. Like I was actually looking at it, I'm like, dude, I kind of want to go.
You think they're gonna be able to get through Audi Cup winners Spurs? I don't think so.
It's going to be an interesting game. I'm really excited about that game.
You think Cobra says you think Luca will get called up? What Luca are we talking about? Lorenzo?
We're talking De La Torre.
Oh, dude, I'm so dumb. No, he will not get called up. Sorry, La Cobra. I don't think the midfield position's so
Just too much.
so packed, and I think in terms of depth pieces, we're going for younger guys. It seems like over Luca.
Yeah,
Luca had his chance with the last regime, and he just wasn't playing enough in Spain. And I think he needs a bigger sample size of a San Diego season before.
If he has a good, a good year at MLS, I think that will help.
Yeah,
for sure. But
for sure.
There's just so much quality in midfield right now, especially with so many players in Europe and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Come on, Austin. Oh my God. They're trolling.
Dude, San Diego needs to stop the madness and stop playing this high line. This is actually insane.
I know that you're right. That left center back is just getting cooked.
Who is that? Is it the guy that's filling in left center back for? Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Pilcher.
Ian
Doesn't even
Pilcher.
have a photo on FOTMOB.
Yeah, bro doesn't even have. Yeah, no photo.
He's
That's
cooked. He's good.
Shocked.
That's never a good sign.
He has not played a full 90 yet this season. He played 2 minutes against the Galaxy, 19 minutes against St. Louis, 35 minutes against Salt Lake.
Who do you rate the best on San Diego so far this season, Cobra? Outside Dreyer, I feel like that's the easy choice, and we're not gonna let you get off easy.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Annabelle Godoy. That dude is the Patrick Beverly of the MLS. I'm all for it.
We love Pat Bev energy. You don't want Draymond Greens on your team punching out your teammates.
When they're on your team, you don't care about it as much.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. Jordan Poole cared when he got knocked out.
Yeah, that's true.
Oi! That's closer than it looks. Ooh, for those interested, classic football shirts do currently have Argentina shirts with Messi on the back on sale. Interesting. Cobra says Lozano. That's fair.
Yeah. Chucky was good in the couple games that he played before the injury. Dryer's been freaking awesome for you guys too. I'm definitely still in the camp too that I think Tverskov should get some love. That dude has been freaking great. One of the Danes that came over. I'm a fan.
0.76 XG for Vasquez, 0.14 for De La Torre. I think we go into halftime 2-1.
Yeah, San Diego gets this to 2-1. You can correct some stuff at half here. You'll be all right.
I think they keep the high line and just let Vasquez cook. Why not? Trust your faceless FOTMOB player.
Would be not unheard of for an MLS manager to decide to just roll with what is not working.
I mean, we have the momentum.
Not be the first time. Ooh.
Oh. No. Look at this. They love it.
Ooh, calling hand? No?
No, that's shoulder, I think.
No.
Okay, Luca.
I forget that Ilya Sanchez is with Austin now, too. That was super goofy.
Oh. So casual.
Oh,
that was.
Oh,
I like how he
kept it in.
faked that, though.
Oh,
what a save, Stuver.
that was awesome. I'm liking these last couple minutes. I think that's what we need from San Diego to finish up.
For the draw, I agree.
Stuver looks like
not that.
Like
For the game.
Stuver looks like a finance bro. Like a really tall, like former athlete finance bro. I think he will get into that after his goalkeeping career.
That's what the arc.
Yeah.
You're seeing the arc.
Can you put that down for predictions?
Yeah.
Oh, nice catch. All right, he's gonna lay on it. I mean, he doesn't look young. How old is Stuver?
Yeah, I just realized once I saw the slick back hair, I was like, oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, looks older than that, respectfully. Oh, dude, that hair's cooked.
Yeah, that's my age. Who looks older, me or Stuver? Let's be honest here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying
looks like
that.
a creepy uncle. Respectfully. All right, halftime it is. I need to pee, so I'm going to turn off the timer.
Little intermission. I'll do the same thing, honestly.
I'm about to take off the scoreboard. Or leave picks alone.
Yep.
No, I'll go P2.
God damn it.
Little be right back, really quick.
No, just kidding. I'll watch the chat while you guys come back.
I'll put this on. I'll do the scoreboard for now before we get to half. So people know what's going on with the game.
Little intermission chat. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
What's up, Mariners? How's your day going, man? Picks halftime show. What's up, guys? What do you guys think about the game so far? I appreciate everybody stopping in. We're also filming the 5th episode of our podcast later tonight too, so we're really doing a marathon tonight. Might be better if you sang us a halftime song. Freak out the karaoke. What do you guys want to hear? Should I bust out the guitar too? Austin actually has a pretty good music scene too. They've been they like part of their tifos and part of their music section or part of their like fan section is having a lot of instruments and stuff like that. Fly Me to the Moon. That's a good one for Yellow Submarine. Covered by Pixelated Suits. I think I hear Dill singing actually, so maybe I'll get him to sing for you guys. But yeah, I think the game's been pretty good so far. 3 goals. I think we're gonna get a couple more in the halftime too. My journeyman save has been so much fun. Nice. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get my ass kicked in this Switzerland save that we're talking about. My so Dill's like objective is to sign Italian players, minus Swiss players, but we're all semi-pro teams, and we're the 3 semi-pro teams in Switzerland. So that's gonna be an exciting save. We have Vaduz in it as well, so we have the Liechtensteiner team. Yeah, it's gonna be rough, Curran, because it's gonna be like I don't know, because we like our finances are pretty messed up too. With my Columbia shirt, my Columbia shirt's in my closet. I gotta bust out the Nacional shirt in a bit because we're playing later tonight. Actually, this is kind of crazy. So the Colombian League, they do this thing where once a week, or sorry, once a season, they do it. So it's like all the rivalry games. So we're playing against the same team that has like the same stadium, and they're allowing all the fans in of both teams, and it's just going to be a disaster. There's going to be like someone might go to the hospital for sure. Lower league saves, yeah. Pentagon, that's cool, Mariners. So you have MLS, US recording the podcast and Columbia tonight, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was watching a bunch of games. I've been watching so many games this past weekend. But yeah, I'll
Pix
be
is
watching the
vibing
Columbia one after this,
officially vibing with
all right,
that.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom while you keep them entertained, Biz.
I'm on it. Where are you thinking of going after the after Africa, Mariners? That's cool. Biggest issue for me is playing lower league saves. Yeah, I get that. What do you think you struggle with the most with the Corn? Is it like tactically? Is it just like player recruitment? Is it just the grind long term? I'm doing a third division Italy save off stream that I'm doing myself, and I made it into the semifinals of the playoffs. I missed like first place by like I don't even know 5 points or something like that, and all 3 teams broke the points record in my specific division. And then in the other 2 leagues, it was like I think the highest top point in the other 2 divisions in the third division was like 72, and we were all 80 plus. So that was super frustrating. And then we ended up like getting like mega FM'd on XG. I think it was like 5-3 or 5-2, and we ended up getting bounced in the semis. So that sucked. But I enjoyed the grind, honestly. The comeback is on. I am hoping so, CG. I got this draw and I keep getting made fun of, but I think it's statistically the right play. I'd sing for you. What did he say? What? News to me. For a karaoke session. John Beck in South Korea after I won my set. Oh, did you? Okay, so you've already gone. South Korea was a trip, man. Yeah, yep, Italy.
Toza?
First time.
Sorry. I took advantage.
Semi-pro stopping. No, you're all good. Semi-pro stopping player development, which is my. I got you. Yeah, with the U stuff. Some Springsteen.
Sourdough.
I don't know where Pix got this idea that I can actually sing. My voice is shot from being out at the bars last night too. It would be brutal. Oh, in Iceland too. Okay, that's one I've never done.
What are we talking about?
A little bit of everything. Some FM, some stuff like that.
I like that.
Yo, what's up with Toza? Welcome in, man. I
Lightning
appreciate you
car
stopping
in
by.
here as well.
Very proud of you guys getting together to spread the love. Yeah, I appreciate that, Watoza. We appreciate you being in here to help spread it.
That's what it's all
It's been
about.
fun.
I was gonna say
I've
something.
been really enjoying it.
When Pix gets back, I have a topic, halftime topic.
Okay, I'm for it. I'm for it. We can talk too. We'll have to talk a little bit more in depth too about the USL announcement too, because we surface leveled it, but we're talking about that pretty heavy on the podcast, I think too, low key. So
I love karaoke, Otto. If this ends 4-4, Dill goes bald. That seems like a lose-lose.
Yeah, some of the promoted ideas by CG, I fail to see the silver lining for me whenever it's directed at me.
CG's an agent of chaos. That's all I'll say.
He is.
He's an absolute agent of chaos. Okay, let me get the scoreboard off. We're gonna be looking at Eastern Conference standings in a little bit. Not yet. I need to set up the timer for next half. What was I gonna say though? Yeah, I wanted to talk about the U.S. men's national team lineup for the game got posted, so I want to talk about that.
Oh yeah,
Actually, a good amount of changes, so we'll talk about that when Pix gets here.
I think Dill greeted Lightning Car, but I appreciate it. Says first time chat Lightning Car. Welcome in, man.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite MLS squad since we're doing our watch party, or anything else you want to say, we'd appreciate you popping in. And if you want to talk about that in chat, feel free. Hope you're having a good day.
There's a right answer. I'll say that. There's definitely
I would agree. I don't know if it's the same.
No.
Probably
also,
not.
I was watching like TikToks with my wife late last night, and we came upon one of like 10 craziest animal sounds, and the loon was on there. I didn't realize the loon made that noise. That like it's
really?
So
yeah, I
famous.
suppose you guys don't have. I suppose you guys don't have them in your area, dude. It's synonymous with like
So
cabin
creepy.
life up here. It is kind of like this like ominous sound. Like you'll be out like on the boat, like if you're driving back, kind of like late at night and it's super quiet. You just get that like off in the distance.
I love that.
It's like peaceful, but it's like definitely like it is kind of creepy.
An
I'm gonna have to search this up.
axolotl? What the hell is that, CG? God, if you're cooking me in chat again.
You don't know what an axolotl is?
Oh, it's Mudkip. That's like my favorite
It
Pokemon,
is, yeah.
bro.
It is Mudkip.
Okay, I fuck with that, CG. You're in the good books for now. It's easy to get in the bad books, though.
What's up, Zapolo? Welcome in, man.
Picture, respectfully, turn your camera on when you're ready. But
Yes, sir.
I was just about to.
I got carried away with the
That's
loop call.
crazy. I said I was gonna pee, and then I made a whole ass snack and got a beer, and I was like, I think Pig's gonna hold it down.
They were trying to make me sing.
You were gonna sing?
Yeah, I already
I think you
did.
can sing pretty
It's
well.
in the VOD.
Okay. I'll be the judge of that.
A convenience store that had axolotls in a fish tank. That's actually great. That's unhinged.
Dude,
behavior.
that makes me sad. I hate that shit.
You know those bodega axolotls, the standard bodega axolotl.
That's crazy.
The bacon, egg, and cheese a lot.
Yeah.
Instead of the bodega cats, you have the bodega axolotl.
All right. Well, post Dill's snack, did we want to just kind of go over a round table of just things that stand out from the Eastern Conference? Is that what was on the agenda here for halftime?
It was, but I want to talk about something else really quick.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
U.S. men's national team lineup for their game against Canada. Many changes.
Okay.
Good idea, yeah.
I finished chewing. Starting 11 goes like this: Matt Turner in goal. Back line of Cameron Carter Vickers and Mark McKenzie, it looks like.
Yep.
Tyler Adams, Weston McKinney, Diego Luna as midfielders, I would assume. Max Arfstein is in the starting lineup alongside Patrick Ojaman, Joe Scally, Tim Weah, and Pulisic. So I think Arfstein is probably going to play opposite of Joe Scally as a wingback, if I remember. Mark Arfstein is a wingback.
He is.
But yeah, three MLS guys in that starting lineup. And I was surprised. I really wanted McKenzie over Ream in the first game as well. I think he was kind of
a lot of people were surprised.
And I'm still, man, Cameron Carter Vickers. I like the guy. You know, he's a Tottenham Academy guy, a Celtic guy, but he just cannot. It's just maybe against Canada it'll be better, but like I just don't think he is of the quality. And I've said this so many times, so I'm a broken record. He hasn't been tested enough at Celtic, you know, as a defender, because they're always in possession. Like they don't have to he doesn't get pressed or anything. It just feels like he doesn't really have to do too much at Celtic defensively compared to some of these other center backs, like Mark McKenzie at Toulouse.
What happened to Richards?
I think he just wanted a big change for the game.
I mean, realistically for this now too, it's like you should be probably rotating and seeing what you can get. Being that you didn't get a actual win in that first game, and you're not playing for a title. It's kind of like
He didn't get called up, Otto. Because he was coming off an injury. That was the reason.
Two loons in the Canadian starting 11. Two Danes starting, and Tanny's starting with Jonathan David.
Oh,
Schaffelberg in there?
I don't see Schaffelberg in there.
That's sad. Maritime Messi.
No, they're actually, they're giving some people some opportunity because like Estacchio's not in. Yeah, Davies on. Which side is Arfstein supposed to be? So it'd be
probably the right, because Scally
the
only
right.
plays
So
left back, really.
Yeah, wasn't Scally on the opposing side last game though?
Who did we play on the other wingback spot? Who was it?
It was. I gotta look at the roster. The name.
Oh, we played Moose. We played Musa as a right back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
No, Scally's always on the left. I don't think they would switch that. And Musa plays right back sometimes for AC Milan.
No, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. No, the reason I point that out though is like you're throwing Arston in there, and you're literally gonna have him take on Davies on that side. That's a choice.
Oh, man.
I like it. Trial by fire.
Yeah, that is a choice.
All right, picks. No pressure. Once you rise.
Yes.
Eastern Conference. Red Bull sitting in 7th. How are we feeling about that, first of all? And you want to give us a general landscape of the Eastern Conference so far, how the Red Bulls exist in it, and what you think about the conference? As, West Coast guys, we don't want to put our input in before yours.
Yeah, so the biggest thing I think about the season overall, I think, is just that Philadelphia are really, really coming away with it. I said it earlier on in one of the podcasts that it was going to be really telling seeing how Philly played against St. Louis, and the fact that they were able to get that win was huge for them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're able to continue forward because they were obviously a huge question mark. So I think Ty Taribo has been able to do so much for the team and bring them forward. And just, I think that the new manager has also just been able to bring a breath of fresh air too. But overall, I haven't been like terribly surprised by that many things. One of the biggest surprises for me has been Atlanta, but I think Atlanta have had a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah.
They played Cincinnati, and obviously, having all those pieces that are just coming in and trying to get their way and trying to figure out how to play with each other. So I think that's a big thing. But they actually got a very, very lucky win against, they got lucky points against Cincinnati away, where they got Cincinnati actually scored an own goal.
Dude,
pretty
yeah.
well.
Can we talk about how good Evander is? So good.
Yeah, Evander was so good. Yeah.
So
it's kind of surprising how, Cincinnati have been having to rotate with, the continental games and stuff like that. So that obviously has an impact, and I think that they're going to find a little bit more points as they go on. I think that they're probably going to finish obviously above us. But as far as the Red Bulls, just what's really apparent for us is that we really need a finisher. I think that obviously Forsberg creates so many chances and scores them as well because, our lack of a finisher. But the issue is like we have Choupo-Moting, who also is a chance creator and I would say more of a deep lying forward where he's going into the midfield and then he makes a pass, to Forsberg, to Sufu, or to Lewis Morgan and stuff like that. But overall, I think we need a 9 in the summer, and there's been plenty of names running around. I think I'd be so happy to get someone like Timo Werner. But overall, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of like rumors with that because Tottenham aren't doing the option to buy and stuff like that.
I don't know if you want him, bro. Respect.
I'd be happy
honestly,
with him. I'd be happy with him. I think you'd ball here.
Yeah, that felt.
Be honest.
I don't think he's that bad. That was my bitterness, my Tottenham. Yeah, it's ruining my personality. I'm a bad guy now.
But yeah, and then one of the biggest things is also just, as I said, I think Atlanta just needs to start finding a little bit more points because they've been a little bit disappointing. But overall, their schedule has been tough, like I mentioned.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot is Portland's are in the same spot as the Galaxy. They're missing Evander. We're missing Ricky Pooch, and it just feels like the offense just is it's so different now because of it.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're kicking off the second half. Dude, my timer skills have been off the charts today. 2-1, Austin at home going to the second half. What are we watching out for other than San Diego's line hopefully dropping? Picks, you first. What are you looking for the second half for either team?
I want to see more out of my boy Thomas Angel. I don't think he's led the line well enough. I think that there's way too much of a focus on the right side because of Dreyer, but I don't know. I need him to lead the line a little bit more. And there's, I think, an over-reliance on trying to work their way through the midfield that isn't working because Austin keep trying to block it centrally.
Biz, what do you think? Are you going to double down and get on Pix's Colombian guy? I wouldn't mind that.
No, I think specifically San Diego's formula, like so long as they do get a handle on just how they're dealing with these counters, I think their game plan is pretty sound. Like
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, both goals can be, you can point to them as being just, I feel like inexperience on the back line of playing this high line. I do think it's kind of a risky endeavor to throw in pretty much a kid that's never played at the senior level, like
He's
full
just a
90-minute
kid, Viz.
stretches.
Give him some
They're
slack.
insisting on playing this high line too. Like there was 2 people up there and working the way up. There was only 2 people in the transition. So
And no substitutions either for either team. I'll note that as well at halftime. Same squads out there.
so it seems like they're relying on the same game plan, San Diego.
Yeah.
But no, I would say like like just kind of like giving him a little bit more help, I think is more like what it comes down to, because I think that's just like so much responsibility to give to somebody that like that's about making split decisions and having somebody that's used to playing the position up, like when you're playing that style. And when you have somebody that's experienced like a Brandon Vasquez, that I don't necessarily, his profile isn't necessarily like a burner by any means, but it's all about the timing of the runs. It's like anybody's presumed as quick as if they're getting off on an accelerated start versus, you flat-footed. So
it's not even a burner too. It's like he has such good leverage with his strength and they're probably about the same speed, I would assume, around that. But he's so much stronger than him. He can get that leverage. And like you said, he's starting on the back foot. Vasquez is running forward. And
correct.
Mariner, he's the left-sided center back for San Diego, who's primarily been marking Vasquez the first goal scorer for Austin. So, and it was the guy who the ball was played into behind for the second goal as well. And he got a yellow card right at the start of the game for pulling Vasquez down. Oh my God, dude, this keeps happening in the midfield.
I know,
What's going on?
Some of the tackles that are going in for it has just been like
brutal.
They're going for blood.
I like it. Welcome. This is I can already see it now. Austin FC welcome San Diego into the league. Their first ever loss. We'll see though. We don't want that for predictions. At least me.
I did see in the pregame buildup, they said if San Diego is able to keep the undefeated run here, they would actually tie the St. Louis mark from their expansion season for best expansion start for like most games undefeated. Although St. Louis's start, I think, was like
more
literally
points.
They won like 4 in a row or 5 in a row or something like that. Like,
I remember because they started with Klaus, right? He was there from the start.
Yeah,
I remember he was on a heater when he first came into the league.
Yep, and it's very similar to what Philly looks like right now, because it was that Bradley Carnell like hardcore press that we like hadn't seen to that level in the league as of yet.
Yeah,
and I feel like it is kind of like the St. Louis style too. It's why like seeing what Philly does here in the coming weeks when maybe some of the players start to tire out if the style starts to kind of fall flat, but. That's what led to St. Louis being so good out of the gate. But San Diego has done it with just like I feel like kind of a malleable style of play where it's like they do have an identity, but they've now are showing that they're capable of playing good ball with some of their key pieces out too, which I think is really telling. Because I've been impressed what they've looked like. Like we said, this is pretty much like a game straight up for whoever wins this will be in second place.
Yeah,
for in the West. If there's a draw, I think San Diego still technically would be, since they're sitting on 8.
He's
but
offsides, I think.
It was.
Is he?
Oh,
dang, he hit that nice. I think he was. No.
MLS has been pretty good about letting those go, even if they score, and then looking at it with VAR, which I think is
that's
like
the
right way to handle that. Yeah. Just play it out.
That's the NFL fumble rule. They always just let it play out.
Yep.
Easier to call it back after.
Let them run the full 80-yard return back and then call it off.
the one thing I was thinking was like maybe drop your 6 into a back 3, and they are doing that out of possession. So.
Yep.
But it's pushing. But now it's pushing the young guy into the middle of the back 3, which is kind of interesting. The 6 is dropping into that right sided of the back 3, and then in possession he's filling up that spot in the middle of the field.
It still looks like it's happening too, because I mean that immediate over the top ball
that seemed too easy.
It's targeted at the left center back too. I mean, like Austin's being calculated
they're
on where they're
him.
Yeah,
the young
back shoulder runs.
We have to start 2 campaigns: lay off him and get him a Fat Mob photo.
Yeah.
He's got to make a name for himself.
You're right. You're right.
He's got to earn the photo.
If he goes a full 90 and Austin doesn't score again, he gets a Fat Mob photo.
Okay, I like that.
If they keep this highline.
He's faced 8 over the top balls. Oh Jesus, that could not be later of a tackle from the Austin FC guy.
Are there any other good strikers on the bench or anything, Biz? Or is it only Vasquez?
For San Diego, or for Austin?
For Austin.
I don't know what Austin's bench looks like with being an international right now.
I can tell you.
I feel like Vasquez is probably going to play all 90 at least.
Their 2 attacking players are they have 3. Osman Bakari, Jader O'Brien, and CJ Fadri.
O'Brien's Colombian, I'm pretty sure.
Bukhari not playing too is kind of surprising because he's a designated player as well, but
he scored a goal this season. I think he scored last week actually, Bakari.
Yeah, I was gonna look and see too with who I'm familiar with looking at their squad here.
You know who I'm surprised hasn't played much for San Diego is Alex Mighton, getting no time outside of 1 game, 23 minutes. I thought that was going to be like a big piece for them. He seemed like he was their second signing, I think, or third signing.
Yeah, his stock has fallen off a cliff pretty much from his Nottingham Forest days.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, Austin. I know Yadier O'Brien a little bit. I don't. He's Colombian picks. Are you familiar with? He played it
in the name. I know
Aguilas Dorados was
awesome
kind of his one of his key spots. It looks like he was there for about 70 appearances.
No, I just know him by the name, and then I know that he joined MLS, but not much.
Yeah, he was brought over with Dallas because that was a Nico Estevez guy because he was there during Estevez's tenure.
All right. Fat Mod kid handles the pressure well.
That's a 0.1 uptick on your match rating. Very well done.
That's what it's all about.
What is the biggest Aguero moment that the U.S. and/or MLS team has ever had? For us, I mean, it's probably the Landon Donovan Algeria call that Ian Dark did during the World Cup for the U.S. team. That was like to win the group that go around, so that was a big deal. I don't know. Would you guys agree with that? For the U.S. at least.
Yeah, I can't think of really any MLS ones because it's like, I don't know. I feel like the MLS has the issue of having so many games where it's just like no one's really watching.
I mean, the Gareth Bale one in MLS was pretty
That's
insane.
A big one.
The LAFC one.
What about Michael Bradley from half court against Mexico?
Yeah, that one was good. I would say like to win, like to have like a. Yeah, to like have like a league win too, though. It's like I would say that's more like for sure. It's the World Cup call for Landon Donovan against Algeria. I mean, that's for sure. Brooks is up there too against Ghana. But yeah, I mean, with just the weight of like how much was going on with that Algeria goal, that was so significant. And then MLS. I would probably say it. The Bale one is a big one, just because that was tail end MLS Cup, like final kick of the game type of thing. And that tied it.
That guy's crazy to complain about that when he just barged him onto the ground full shoulder. Back. He like there's a halfway point where he thought about committing.
Never played the ball.
Oh my god, bro.
Never played the ball.
Props to number 8 who played that perfectly. He touched the ball, kind of then put his body in between him and the player to draw that. San Diego's had gotten like 3 or 4 yellows from their back line, from their midfield back throughout this game.
It's been a lot of I don't want to call it dirty. It's just been a lot of like aggressive challenges.
Yeah, San
very
Diego
physical.
FC is dirty. Wow. Oh, they got the Michelob.
I said not.
I'm just kidding. I think the Michelob Ultra ads got me subconsciously because that's what I'm drinking now. I didn't even notice they were on the field.
That sounds good.
It's like all I have from like people brought beers for a party and they brought these like these are basically Propel waters. They're so watery.
Yeah,
that's all I have. I'm watching my finger. Oh, how did that not go in?
How the hell?
Wow.
So unlucky.
catching up on
was
Chad here
awesome,
too.
CG. That's all, his moments at the Galaxy are my favorite Galaxy moments because Ibra's one of my favorite players ever. I love guys like that.
The volley for Ibra is that
God, dude,
what's being referenced?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that goal on his debut was nothing short of insanity. I mean, it was very weird seeing Ibra in a cold weather playoff game in Minnesota. Him immediately coming off, and he actually we played pretty well against them. Galaxy ended up winning that game and knocking us out, but that was one of those things that he didn't really do much in that. In that game, which I thought was super funny. And it was so bizarre to watch it, a team like us that had struggled so bad defensively, effectively take Ibrahimovic completely out of a game in a playoff game. If you would have told me that coming into the, when Minnesota first came into the league, I would have been like, what alternate timeline do I live in? What? It was very, very bizarre.
Is that Owen Wolf again? Dog. Oh, he had Vasquez. He had leverage again. Oh my God, dude, he's so nasty.
Oh no.
Vasquez, why? Oh, he tried to go so nonchalant.
Dude,
Be more chalant, bro.
Too. The keeper had to fully commit and just come out.
He would have won he would have got to the ball.
He's so lucky he scored on that first goal, man.
He would have gotten the shit out of it.
He has had 4 legit chances.
Owen's cold for that pass too.
Really well timed too for the run.
Look at the keeper.
Oh my God.
Why did he do that?
I think it's because the keeper kind of hesitated where he was going to go and then stopped. But he wasn't even looking. He was looking at the ball. So I don't know. That was just poor.
He shanked it. He shanked it. That's a
terrible
miss. Vasquez had a one-on-one with the keeper, CG. The keeper kind of came halfway out, then decommitted, and then Vasquez tried to chip him, but shanked it 10 feet right. Bad. Jesus. Respectfully.
Yeah, he could have fake shot it and just passed it.
What the composure was there on the first goal, and then he had more. I mean, it's hard to say because in the moment he looks up, the keeper's coming out, then he kind of decommits. But does he decommit while Vasquez is already looking down, making his choice for the what's it called for the chip? But it didn't even matter; it wasn't on target. So yeah, because I liked his ball roll on the first goal, just to get by the keeper. And
that was good composure.
Composed finishing. Oh, here we go again.
How are we still holding this high line? What are we doing?
All right, let's go back.
Yeah, I don't know why it hasn't changed. Oh my.
Oh.
I think Vasquez is going to get a goal. If he plays all the 90 minutes, I think he's going to get another one, yeah.
Dude, this guy's he's playing like a wide receiver on the line. He's just waiting to be released every time. What are they doing? It was a nice.
Do you think a San Diego Red? A San Diego Red is not out of the question, Corinth. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah,
they're very handsy. Here comes Bakari.
Yeah, Bakari coming on will help. I think that will help even a little bit more too. Oh yeah, the what was it? Confederations Cup's a good call too, Otto. I kind of forget about that. That was a fun team.
What are you talking about? Hamilton Mariners? Are we talking about F1?
Oh yeah. He
Grand Prix.
Yeah, it was crazy because they got disqualified, both Ferraris.
Oh,
First
really?
time it's ever happened.
What happened? I didn't notice that. I watched the highlights, so I didn't.
Yeah, so because they because it's so technical, one of the cars weighed in a pound underweight.
Okay.
And the other one, their plank was 0.5 centimeters or millimeters off of what it's supposed to be. So they got completely disqualified.
Damn.
Yeah, it sucks. But at the same time, I don't know, you're told the rules ahead of time where it's you have to meet this weight. And they have so many calculations and all that. So
yeah.
It's just Ferrari being Ferrari.
Ferrari choked when they went maroon red over their bright red. That's just what are we doing, guys? I watched both highlights now. I'm gonna keep up this year. There's so many.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be really exciting.
It's a cool year. What's his name? Won Piastri after crashing last week, right? He crashed.
Yeah, Piastri won. Well, he spun out and then came back to still get.
Oh my God! Again, he might be offside.
He was off. Yeah, he was legit off.
Pass it just to get used to it.
Flubbed it too. It doesn't even matter.
From the goalkeeper though.
That was so awful.
Yeah.
That first touch was bad. He was on the bench, It's okay. 0.5 millimeters is big. I'll have you. Yeah, that's a huge difference. I would say as well. Good fast though.
I wonder what San Diego has on the bench here that they can bring on.
Oh my god.
It's tough too because it's first year.
You see what their bench looks like.
Ooh.
I feel like San Diego's kind of.
They've kind of got a little bit of a light bench. I feel like they're missing a guy. Like they didn't fill it out fully.
Loffelson could be useful. Boateng, kind of a rotational guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like throwing Mighton on. I feel like why not?
Dude, they're both wearing t-shirts.
It's being so annoying to have to take the. I wonder if they do it or they just order water bottles because that's like a Dasani water bottle, but they've taken the plastic off every single one.
Ooh.
Oh. For the branding.
Surprised they took Diego Rubio off for Bakari too, because I feel like Rubio was having a pretty good game.
Rubio looked really good, yeah, but he had gotten like a weird tackle where he like pounded the fist really, or he pounded the grass.
Oh,
really
he might have been
bad.
hurt. You're saying?
Maybe, or maybe he just like got like a weird knock or something.
Was he sitting on a yellow too?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know
That
though.
could be a reason why. Ooh, dangerous. Well, that's dangerous.
Rubio, you said? No, he wasn't. I think they're just trying to bring in some more pace to break the line a little bit because they're playing a 4-4-2.
I mean, he was getting knocked around a lot, so.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of jersey grabbing. When you fully grab a jersey, then put your hands up. I'm innocent.
It wasn't me. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Oh, not creepy Uncle Stu. Get him off my screen.
Uncle Stu.
Uncle Stu. He's had a good game. He got unlucky with that goal.
Yeah, the deflection.
Yeah, there's literally nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
What's that tattoo on Thomas Angel? It looks like an architectural piece.
Yeah, it looks like Big Ben.
That's weird.
It does kind of look like Big Ben.
He was born in Birmingham though.
Oh, really?
So that's one for UCG. Well, yeah,
Wow,
because
that is crazy trivia.
Yeah, well, his dad played for Villa, so.
Oh,
that should have been like the first topic for CG. You would.
Yeah, I forgot my audience. I'm pretty sure he was born in Birmingham.
What the fuck is going
What is
on,
happening?
Thomas Angel, the San Diego striker. Look at Stu.
Let me see though.
Just so composed.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Look at him mean mugging the kid. Jeez. Diop coming in for San Diego. Another guy's well.
And Loffelson, yeah.
Who's coming out? They're right back. And Vasquez coming out. Oh, you can only fumble so many one-on-one chances. I would be pissed if I were him, to be honest.
I'm coming off too.
Oh, Mighton is getting some time. I'm happy
go.
I want to watch Mighton a little bit.
There's an Birmingham in Colombia. There's
an Aston Villa, Colombia.
Yeah, it's Burmata.
Burmata City.
That's funny. You're not mad you're coming off, Angel? No passion.
For real.
It's like, all right.
Father's shaking his
head. That's what the Rummies are like.
Yeah. Juan Pablo shaking his head in disappointment.
He didn't even touch the ball.
Yeah, he didn't really.
Oh my god, I really thought they were gonna get behind them, and there's just 5 San Diego defenders watching one guy on the right side get by all of them. All right, what do we think? Do we think San Diego ties it up? Does Atlanta go up 3-1? What do you think is the next big moment happening in this game?
I want to see what the injection of Mighton coming in does, because I do.
Top.
Yeah, I kind of am intrigued by that as the solution here, because I did not know that he had that as part of his game as being the furthest forward. It's kind of a unique decision I wasn't expecting, but
maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's kind of what I'm implying is the fact that it might not be a smart choice. Because I honestly did not know that was like a role that he really had.
He's playing more as a 9 right now.
Yeah, whoa.
He came off 4.
Here we go. Oh, come on. Oh, it's behind him. Come on, dog.
Yeah,
I like him. I like him looking at his player that he passed it to.
Yeah.
Wait, Vasquez didn't come off. I got baited. He's still out there.
Oh, so maybe it was on him, the 9 that they were subbing off then 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess they were both doing subs at the same time.
You're right. God.
He'd probably play for Columbia CG. I would say.
over
But
England.
there's always a chance.
Said the chance you get called up to England.
San Diego FC.
That would be the
striker
craziest
called
thing
up to
of all time.
England.
Thomas Tuchel's just like, you know what? I saw something in him. I like him. Playing at San Diego, I've been
I'm
keeping
calling
close
up
eye.
Dan Byrne, Lewis Skelly, and Thomas Angel. That's my 3 debut guys. Oh, okay.
His 3 goals and 18 sub appearances. It spoke to me.
I don't know if he scored like a regular goal for Phoenix.
Yeah, honestly, like I think on the couple loan stuff. Yeah, I don't think he did much either.
Wait, he played at Phoenix FC?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went there on loan, didn't he?
I think you're right.
I know he went somewhere in
Badgers
the USL, but yeah.
I think
Yeah,
feel like
Zapolo, it's
that
his
name
son.
is familiar to me.
It is his son.
That's the reason I'm a Red Bulls fan.
I thought you were an
That's why
NYCFC fan.
Pix loves him. That's why.
God.
Jordan Henderson is getting called up.
They need locker room presence. That's their Shaq Moore. Don't hate.
Yeah, they're Christian Roldan. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a vibes guy. Got to make sure everyone's having fun in the locker room.
I mean, Berhalter.
The Greg Berhalter exclusive.
Let's be real.
It's true. 3 straight in the MLS.
He's convincing
Needs to be
Hugo
said.
Kuipers to switch to become American.
That's exactly what we need.
The reverse Indonesia.
Exactly.
Indonesia, I'm pretty sure I've gotten like 2 or 3 more like players besides the big ones that have been mentioned since we last talked about it.
Yeah,
like they're actually making a cool push for the World Cup.
Yeah, but they just got slapped by Australia.
Oh, really?
Day.
Oh, yeah. And then Japan just qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, first team to qualify in their Y3 kits.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. No, never mind. I lied. Oh. Owen Wolf's so nasty. I'm just going to keep saying it. Owen Wolf propaganda. Ooh,
I think he's on.
He's definitely on.
I think he's on.
Bro, just calm down. Just like
Oh,
slow
man.
down. Oh, Vasquez. He doesn't even have anything to say about that. Just look at him with disappointment. He might not have been on sides because I don't think he slowed down enough, but
that was a nice save.
Yeah. But what's his face? When he's on the ball or like chasing the ball, it's like he's always like almost falling down.
Ooh, Bakari.
Yeah.
Oh, Vasquez would have been good.
Yeah, it's like someone charges. He gets like a power up, and he's just like flailing his limbs. He's
hard though.
His power levels are too high.
Yeah. Who is this keeper?
Yeah, I was about to
Dos
say.
Santos.
Oh, okay.
CJ Dos Santos.
He's American. Let's see where he has been. He's from. Wait. No.
Vasquez is the Nunez of MLS. Let's get that started. $10 million.
Miami? Oh,
CJ,
yeah, he was Miami, yeah.
Their backup keeper behind Calendar, I think, yeah.
Carlos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is where you go now.
This is what
Numbers.
This is what Biz wants.
Yes, sir.
I want San Diego to score. I want to. Oh. We don't want to draw, though. Would we rather have Biz win and us lose, or.
I'd rather all of us lose.
I agree with that.
Wow. Unbelievable. I thought you guys were my friends.
That's why we root for your downfall. A fake friend would fake cheer for you.
It's true.
It's true. That's a good point. That's oddly comforting.
Here we go. Kevin Dos Santos. I was going to call him Kevin Abacus because he was the backup to Drake Calendar, but I got insecure about that joke.
That was a pretty good one. They
Wait,
might have
Kevin
gone over.
Dos Santos, isn't that that was the York United guy?
What did I just call him? What's his first name? Lucas.
His first name's
Carlos.
CJ.
I'm so wrong. I've called him 3 things in 2 minutes.
Disrespect after that save. That's unbelievable.
It just gets worse and worse.
It's Jeremiah Vasquez leading the line for Austin FC.
It's a good bit. Michael Dos Santos with the save.
Here we go. Maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, see, Austin knows how to defend that.
Austin have been pretty good defensively.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, and they're, like I said, they're missing a couple
Oh,
people.
wow. Oh, yes, come on. Vasquez, run! Oh, is it a foul? That's like,
Yeah, they're calling. Yeah.
I don't,
Bukari
have,
kinda
I don't have
pulled
my
him down.
audio on for the video. You hear the whistles.
me neither.
I love soccer
just
in
feel
the
the
purest
vibes in the
form.
stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Was it? This is them truly passing the eye test. Easy, don't eat these crumbs. Get out of here. Oh, that's a good
The
question.
possession is crazy too.
He'd rather see the Minnesota Timberwolves win the NBA Finals.
It's definitely. I'll phrase it like this. I think it's a little bit easier for me. It would definitely be the Vikes win the Super Bowl because I think the MLS title wouldn't be big enough. It would probably be like Champions League would be a harder one for me. Like if Minnesota United made the Champions League and won that would be a harder. That would probably be a little bit more 50-50. But MLS Cup versus Super Bowl, it's definitely Super Bowl for the Vikes. Just longer equity. They've been around longer. But don't get it twisted. I definitely want to see both with all of it.
CG just stabbed me in the heart. I'm gonna ban your subscription.
What's more? Tottenham's trying to cabinet or Dill's YouTube channel. Oh my god! What the hell?
I'm deleting your created player in my save now. You little shit. I'm giving him 20 injury and 5 potential ability. He was gonna be my starting right back. Look what
Deserved, honestly.
You're like Claudio Reyna, and he's Gio Reyna. You fucked it for him, dude.
It's a combination, not just Claudio. It's Danielle Reyna as well. It's the full parental force.
CG came in and was watching the save last week, and his player literally tweaked his ACL live on
I was in there when that happened.
Yeah. I didn't like it in the moment, but now in hindsight, it was awesome.
You had the crystal ball out. You knew it was going to happen.
Exactly.
FM knew it was going to happen, I should say.
Yes. I mean, it's just, it was preordained. That's how FM works. What you're seeing in the engine is just, what the game has already made happen. God. Can't say that didn't hurt my feelings, CG. I'm going to be thinking about that tonight before bed.
It's hard to come back from. Mm-hmm. Pix, you got anything on your mind?
Not too much, but someone came out with a sheet of paper. 22 just came out with a full sheet of paper, so it looks like San Diego are going to switch up their
full tactical listing.
I mean, he's got it. Look
around to the full team.
He had it. I don't know where it's at now. I don't know where it's been to now, but he came on with a full sheet of paper.
See what Mighton can do. Take your man on. Nope. Tottenham's true. If Edrad is older than half the MLS, the Tottenham stuff doesn't do anything for me. We have an Audi Cup.
Oh
wow, Dreyer! Come on! Oh, that was really well. That was a nice touch from Dreyer to get that down. Okay, we got a game. God, I would hate to be the Austin FC fans just dead in the sun. I hate sitting in seats like that.
It's
87.
I'd rather not go to a game if we're sitting in those seats. Like that shit sucks.
That's the nice thing about having it be like an open concept stadium where you just sit in by like the food court or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to put it onto record that my seats are on the shade side. Just throwing
It's very important. Oh my god.
Okay, Bukari is like legit. He's trolling. That's a designated player. Bro is trolling.
Clifforda, thank you for the follow,
what is
bro.
going on?
Appreciate you. Welcome in. Would love to hear who you support in the MLS and what you think of Bakari's heavy touches this game.
And Dill's YouTube channel.
Yeah, save me. It's great. Hey man, I'm starting from scratch. All right. I just started getting super insecure about it.
Yeah, he's posted like 5 videos in total.
That's funny. I'm posting actually my first ever like long form video soon. Canada Build a Nation episode 1. So I'm excited for that.
Oh my!
For one can't wait.
Dreyer, get it down, dog.
Oh,
there's been so many shots like that have just been hitting the fans.
Yeah, what does that say about the MLS's attitude towards fans?
They hate the fans.
99 power shots only into the fans.
In South America, we have fences to protect the fans.
That-
Oh man,
I would argue that South America is trying to keep their fans away from the game then.
That's true. And to keep them from invading the field too.
All right, a couple more subs for Austin FC. Cascante and O'Brien coming in. For Sabovic and Kolomanic. Wow.
My boy O'Brien. Let's see if he can do something. He's definitely gonna be better than the guy that they just put on.
I'm gonna say I'll go out on a limb and assume he's Colombian. If he's your boy.
Bukhari catching strays.
Am I correct?
It's
Well, with that
deserved,
chance, he
honestly.
just kicked it out.
I mean, Bukhari has been absolute shit since he's been on, so I can't say it's not
Yeah.
deserved.
Come on, guys. He's a DP. Lay off.
Now he's literally passing it back to San Diego players off
Yeah,
of his
that's
head.
crazy.
That's big brain plays there by Tverskov.
I do like Austin's watching it for 75 minutes now. The atmosphere, the vibe of the stadium is really nice. I understand why people like this. It feels like, I don't know, I feel like Austin FC are definitely one of the more higher attended teams in the league for sure.
Yeah, it helps. I think any like expansion side for the most part is still like in that vein of where you're seeing sellouts, even if the seats aren't completely full. I know like Minnesota United, I can't remember. I don't know if we've had, outside of like maybe some Open Cup games
Oh, cool.
and some Leagues Cup games, I don't know if we've had anything that hasn't been fully sold out, even if the stadium doesn't look filled.
Oh, look at that. The horns. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. But yeah, in the summer, those seats in the sun.
In Texas too.
Fuck,
Like it's
man.
actually like, that's
Right
actually
now it's
borderline,
87 degrees. They were
Yeah,
saying
and it's-
earlier.
it-
It's like I wouldn't want to be there right
That's
now.
cool.
Austin's humid as hell too. That's also like an extra layer. So you're breathing in that thick, hot air. Ugh.
Yeah.
Think
not
about the
great.
players you're experiencing. They don't get that in San Diego.
Texas barbecue after though.
It's true. Think about if you did Texas barbecue before it. That's
Oh,
see,
Dude, the Texas
that's a mistake.
the Texas barbecue
okay,
what's it called?
Bakari, get up.
Like if you're sitting in those
No, it's
far
a
side
tasty.
seats and you just hit some Texas ribs like right before.
Mhm.
You're sitting there like
Oh,
with
and then you're
that and some mac
baking
and
in there?
cheese,
Yeah.
and then you're baking in the far
Yeah.
side seats.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You might as well just put me
a
down.
baked potato.
Yeah, you just might as well put me down. Like, I'm probably not making it out of that seat.
After
Like I think
party
I
on
would
6th
just like melt into the seat.
Dude, I don't know if you guys. I'm gonna take us on a crazy tangent. In Austin, apparently there's not rumors, but you can look it on YouTube. Conspiracy. No, but there's
I don't know
apparently
what
there's
this-
like an on the loose like serial killer in Austin.
Oh
I don't know if you
shit.
guys have seen
The Sixth Street Killer?
This
Dude,
guy
it's
knows.
Vasquez. If
Bisnos.
no one dies tonight, it's
Vasquez.
Vasquez.
No, it's Bukhari.
No, Bakari would have been caught by now with those heavy touches.
Yeah, no, that's true. He can never fully finish the job because he keeps missing.
Oh,
Misses
Can't
the
work on the
stabs.
courage.
the stab passes. The stab passes.
Yeah, step passes.
True American sports fans watch MLS over March Madness. I don't really love college basketball, to be honest.
Oh man, that's
Really?
a,
That's
that's a
surprising, Dill.
that's a
Yeah,
tough take.
There's not enough ISO basketball. I like one. Clear them out. I like hard drawing fouls over and over. I don't know.
Just
I
double
just,
Euro step into the lane.
I don't know. College sports have never really done it for me. I
Oh,
didn't
there's
grow. I
nothing-
think you have to grow up into it, and I'm
Same
not
here,
really.
yeah.
And like
yeah. No, same
like
here.
Biz said, how am I gonna wear a kid's name on my back?
That's, yeah, even worse.
It's crazy.
No, I definitely did grow up into it, so I'm like completely the opposite. My
Sure.
dad was raised as a huge Minnesota Gophers fan, and my
Mhm.
mom's actually an alum. And yeah, it's so funny because me and my brother are like both diehards for the team and
Mhm.
for like all the Minnesota Gophers sports, and neither one of us attended the school, but we're just kind of how it's always been. Like it's like a special kind of like I get like upset with the football team losing still, like so it's got that special connection. It still has that like emotional connection just from being young and them always kind of being bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get more into the college sports side of it because I feel like for a lot of people in Europe, that is the lower leagues for us.
It's the closest thing we
So,
have, like it, both in my opinion, in like the landscape of the game with like how spectators react to it, like both in stadium and like outwardly, and how they support teams.
and
Like
yeah,
I've always mentioned too, like even just when I've been in a small town, like in Wisconsin for my job, and like how you always see, like if you go into like a diner or a bakery, if it's local, you'll see like the things that you'll always see displayed is you'll see like the high school football like schedule up on like the walls, and then you'll also see if there's a college team nearby that they love, you'll see like you know, memorabilia and stuff like that, if like any players are from there. Like that's
UConn is crazy
such a
over here. You go
grassroots
to anywhere in Connecticut and it just
I don't want to interrupt, but like I'm going to. Lawfulson, dude, he is fucking ripped. Did you see how big his biceps were? That guy's huge. That's crazy. As a soccer player, look, guys, you guys can, you know, we don't have to be skinny little soccer players. You can be like Lawfulson.
He's like that guy. He's like that.
Oh, what a save by Stu! Dirty Uncle Stu! Oh my god!
What the hell was that?
Oh,
he looks surprised.
he's too nonchalant.
He was on the floor.
Oh my God.
He'd been fouled. No, he hadn't been fouled. He kind of fell, but still, he was on the floor.
Yeah, he made that harder than it needed to be. But
I like the theatrics. Do you expect?
I was gonna say,
less?
Lawfulson's out here doing the full face ice bath like the guy on X.
Oh, you guys have been seeing that guy? That guy. He's a beast. Like he is built like an absolute just like Mack truck. And the way when he's sprinting at you, oh my god, that's Adam Traore in a different life.
That Twitter guy, that guy's got his life figured out. That's all I'll say.
I think we start ice face bathing before every watch party.
Ice face bathing. Full record.
Who says no?
Lay him out.
Owen Wolf.
I think it's just good. It's you know, we got to commit to, you know, health is wealth.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's why the channel's not growing as much as we needed to. Because
definitely
we're not waking up at 3 a.m. and ice face.
Definitely. Definitely, I agree.
Okay, we got a couple chat messages that I don't want to get past. Sapolo says, football games in the summer are sick. When the firemen start hosing at the fans, that's peak football. I like that. That's kind of like ice bath adjacent. I saw a news article about a 24-year-old Olympic gold medal wrestler fighting and losing in college wrestling today. What the hell was he doing there anyway?
Yeah, that was Gable Stevenson at Minnesota. Yeah, he came back and
guys built different.
He blew it because that would have been the perfect like never lost, and he lost. It was a huge upset. Like that guy won like Olympic gold. He came back because he had like one final year. I think it was like a COVID year of eligibility. So like there's so many players in college now that like are having like 6-7 years in college because like COVID threw it off, where like they're all able to come back because they granted everyone like an extra year eligibility.
I'll add this too. There's a common thing too with high school sports where they'll hold kids back a year. So they're like bigger and like older than other kids in their years. So then it's like when they get to college, they're like another year still younger or older than they should be. So that's pretty common. I remember some couple kids from the schools around my area who played high school football did that. And
it's big in hockey where I'm from.
Yeah, it didn't work out for them. Respectfully. Oh my god, that guy Mighton.
Can't do that to Alex Mighton.
I think this guy would say you can because he did. He looks so much older now with his like short hair.
Yeah.
He should be looking young and thriving. You're in San Diego, bro. It's gotta be better. It's gotta be better than Nottingham.
Yeah.
Thank you for the support. We'll only use Corin branded ice water.
I want to be like used to. I love that.
That kid does not know what he wants. Stu probably didn't. He doesn't. That guy. He doesn't smile. He's like so like. Maybe he's the 6th Street Killer.
Hiding behind the Uncle Stu persona. It makes sense.
Yeah. So stupid. All right. This is a good chance for San Diego.
Solid opportunity for a 2-2 draw here.
Yeah, and this has been, the weekend for late draws.
Oh, dude. That
Oh,
was a really big.
oh no!
Oh, Uncle Sue has foresight. He knew that wasn't going in.
He didn't even go for it. He was like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, I get that.
I don't think he
First
could have
shot was
mishit that
bad,
first shot.
though.
Yeah. Are we doing it again? Did they call it a corner
I think so.
or no?
There was a lot of people in the box, so I imagine it probably hit off someone. Yeah.
Yeah, there.
I love a good soccer ball tattoo on a soccer player.
They got our logo on them.
Dryer's a paid actor for us.
A big fan of the show.
We should have taken his tattoo and made that our logo. That'd be calling the
That's
shot.
it. The crossbar.
You take the most popular players, like most like apparent tattoo, make that your logo.
How about
then he
Richarlison's
becomes
back
the
tattoo?
MVP. Richarlison's back tattoo.
But it's us three instead.
That'd be a crazy Photoshop. That'd be an awesome logo. Just on Richarlison's back. Just a Brazilian national team podcast. All right. I like that. Oof, that mullet was looking.
That was like the Timu Jake Berg that just came on. I don't know who that guy is.
That was. Whoever came into my chat the other day talking about shampooing my hair, he needs to talk to that guy.
Dude, those comments were crazy.
I just had to eat that. Like, all right, whatever. He was talking about like normal like football manager stuff, and then he just goes straight for jump scare for that mullet. Fuck.
Mullet jump scare.
6th Street Killer.
Yeah, maybe it's him and Stu. It's been rumored it's more than one guy.
Yeah, going into a chat and saying you have burnt hair is insane.
Okay, you added that. That's not what you said.
I thought that is what he said. He said like it's like appearing that your hair was like you have like burnt hair or some shit. It was something along those lines.
This is not what the guy said.
Your head has
finally getting his revenge on me.
Your head has 3rd-degree burns.
CG said rare Biz W. rare Uncle Stu W.
I swear on my life, I saw the burnt comment. It definitely happened.
I still don't believe you.
I don't believe that. Oh, man. All right. I don't know how much added time there will be. There's like maybe one or there's.
Yeah, it'll be standard 2 or 3. Probably standard 2 or 3 would be my guess. There's been some nonstop insane midfield tackles that have taken out people's legs. People have been rolling around for a while.
He's saying Dill's hair is like Michael Jackson's after the Pepsi commercial fire. I don't even want to know what that is.
It's like
Pepsi commercial.
Stu with the big leg. Oh. There we go.
This game has gone a lot different than what I thought. I thought it'd be
Yeah.
a lot lower scoring than it was. I thought it was going to be more like the second half, to be honest, than anything else.
Plot twist, it's away. Dill's just like full ball.
The toupee. I just have big Dr. Phil hair.
Puts it on every morning like the Darth Vader helmet.
I'm never going to let you get close to my hair so you won't know, CG. You would have if you had nicer things to say about my YouTube channel.
So many strays. I mean, Dill was catching some strays for me the last like 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
I feel bad. That's why I had to tone it down.
How is it stray when people keep saying Dill? That's a direct.
Yeah, it was direct.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was direct.
That's not. They're playing Austin FC style on my character.
Character attacks.
And there's only one thing you can't disrespect. It's my character. Or what is it like when it's like, you guys can come for me all you want, but when you go for my family, oh, dude, Jack Das Lawfulson having to come off. I guess the muscle doesn't help. All right, 5 minutes of added time. Biz, a little more than you thought. Vargas's tattoos are very obscure. It's a circle.
Yeah, a little tic-tac-toe board or something like that.
We're feeding CG too much. He's hitting Tony Hawk combos on my Yeah. Corin, help me out. CG's won't lay off me, dude. I'm just a kid. He's bullying me.
Dude, that ball had
gone
gone out. Yeah,
100%.
and the ref was right there.
540 twist.
Oh, give me a late, like 94th minute tire here.
Dude, that was a crazy college soccer game or goal the other day where Stanford like equalized or won it at like the literal last second. He just kicks it from halfway line.
That was in which game?
Stanford. I don't know who it was against.
Oh,
It's college soccer.
college soccer.
I actually do think I think I've seen that highlight. Like the announcer freaks the fuck
Dude,
out.
yeah. Yeah. What's his name? Badger sent it to me the other day.
Yeah. I have seen that one before. Here it is. This is the moment. This is your moment.
I don't like this.
I believe.
I'm getting nervous.
Are you ahead?
No.
I'm just getting nervous because San Diego have the ball.
Holy shit, that was a dangerous spot. But we got Owen on the turn, and he just got rinsed.
Mullet guy on the ball.
Yeah, I'm not expecting.
Oh, he almost let it go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
You guys disrespected.
Oh, my fellow
shut up
burnt
and
hair
watch.
brother. Okay, and then he just dribbled it out.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
I love
okay.
that. I love that.
Oh!
That's what we like on Something About Soccer. Showing the tattoos too.
Dude, you know what his hair is? His hair is in 240p. You hate to go after someone's looks, but whatever.
But we're gonna do it anyway.
All right, come on, Owen. That was interesting.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Oh, they're winning. No shit. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I literally have never seen anything like that before from a corner.
Yeah, that was a weird
It didn't
choice.
seem real. CG, you're not gonna get me. I'm not gonna interact. with you.
120. Get in the box. Get in the box.
There's no need for that. Look at Owen.
Oh no.
That was too
It's
nonchalant.
Bukhari. I still got a chance.
His strides are too big. He needs a running coach.
It's like a newborn gazelle.
The highs are high if it's a lows are low.
Dude, it's like Calafiore got injured the same way by slipping in such a weird way. I don't know if you saw that. But he got injured for Arsenal and Italy the same way. He just falls and it just like he does a split.
Bukhari runs like
Yeah,
he's trying to like
run.
jump over a puddle.
That's good. That's very funny. Biden? Jesus.
Oh, in the
Oh
box.
my god, why?
What are we doing?
Oh,
Do it.
Dill40k is the local one, right? The one
Yeah.
that
Yep.
had come
Yep.
over.
Uh-huh.
One more try at it. One more try at it.
SoCal's finest. Who do we got? Down the left side. Mighton.
Oh, cook him.
Oh,
Mighton Mouse.
All right, corner.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Bike incoming.
If that actually happens,
That'd be awesome.
the stream might blow up.
No, my hair's too burnt already.
dude, do you see the luchador?
That guy's
Holy shit!
awesome.
He's distracting him. Somebody get that guy.
Mom, Mom, I want to go to WWE. No, we got it at home. All right, let's see. Dill40.
He left. They escorted him out.
The luchador? Holy.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my
The
God,
luchador.
that
no.
almost fell to the
Oh
keeper.
no.
No shot. He's such.
I love
God, if
when
he
they
put it on target, it
up.
would have counted.
Yeah. That'd have been cool.
Your
Nice.
boy Dos Santos.
Who?
Just because you're
Whose boy?
self-roasting doesn't mean I want
Whose
it.
Your boy.
My boy?
You don't know his first name, but you do know his last name.
That's Craig Dos Santos. That could have been a handball, but we don't call this. I'm 8-miling UCG.
Oh,
I'm getting to the
they've
gym
done
before
it.
you can.
Austin has done it.
San Diego FC dropped their first game of the season and as a club.
And
Yeah.
Austin FC is now officially second place in the Western Conference.
Wow.
They have LAFC
Wow,
coming up, so another California team
That's
in a
pretty
big test.
interesting.
I think one of the tougher teams that they faced.
All right. Before we wrap up, I'd like to go through a few things to just set the context of the game. Right off rip from FOTMob, Valakari on San Diego FC is your player of the match with an 8.0. Owen Wolf on Austin FC gets the highest rating with a 7.9 with an assist. Vasquez and Gallagher are your two goal scorers for Austin FC. De La Torre scored the goal for San Diego FC. Initial thoughts, Biz, on that game. I know Pick said it wasn't what he was expecting. It's definitely not what I was expecting. Were you expecting it?
No, I like honestly, I would say Austin pulling 3 points out of that is, especially being fairly hamstrung by some of the international duty stuff and not having a couple first choice players on the back line. That's a huge result. And I mean, like we said, as parity filled as the MLS is currently, I mean, that literally hopped them from 10th place to second with the game in hand. So big ups to Austin. They've won. Now that's 2 in a row. Opened their first game of the season with a win. So it's like 3 wins, 2 losses, and they got St. Louis City on the horizon here. So, I mean, that's a whole lot different than after week 3 when they had 3 points through 3 games. So good on them to kind of rebound after a tough start. And all of a sudden now they're looking like I think a lot of fans in Austin would have hoped.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Picks, I know you were sharing some initial thoughts in terms of second half compared to the first half, but what's your vibe on the end of the game here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because San Diego obviously came in undefeated. So first loss, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they react around it, especially considering that they didn't really change, the whole issue that they had of, they played with that high line, and that's kind of where they got punished. And that's where they kept getting punished even in the second half, where pretty sure San Diego even had more possession, but despite that, they weren't able to create too much.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's going to be even more of a test when they play LAFC, which is probably the most challenging California team right now, because Galaxy didn't really provide them too much of a challenge. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play against LAFC. I think that's one of the biggest tests, especially because San Diego hasn't really, played against teams that are terribly, terribly hard.
Sure.
Besides, I think maybe Columbus they played. But yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting to see, especially against LAFC. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about with that game.
Yeah. So updated Western Conference standings, like Biz said. Vancouver in first on 12 points. Austin FC, 9 points in second. LAFC, 9 points in third. San Diego FC dropped to fourth. St. Louis City, fifth. And then I'll say Minnesota United in sixth as well. Don't want to ignore them. But Austin FC's next game is St. Louis. And then, like Pick said, San Diego is going to play LAFC, so that'll be a really interesting game. For our 3 teams, Minnesota United is playing RSL in their next game, so I'd be happy if I were Biz. I see him smiling, I think. LA Galaxy are taking on Orlando City and Luis Muriel, and the New York Red Bulls are taking on the New England Revolution. Before we go...
Easy 3 points.
Wow. I was going to ask, what do you think about that game?
Easy 3 points.
Easy 3 points for Picks and the Red Bulls. Galaxy, I think, can hopefully pick up 3, like we were talking about before in the next 3 games, and we've played through 2 of those. I wanted 4 points. We have 2 of those, so a win would get us to 5, so they would be exceeding the Dill expectations. I don't think they care about that though. And Biz from Minnesota, what are you expecting out of that RSL game? I mean, we can talk about it a little. Like Minnesota are being that team this year that are kind of, I feel like, playing down to their opponent a little bit. Giving up leads, things like that. What do you expect out of RSL?
Yeah, it's been really frustrating these last couple, because I think we went into a 3-game stretch going into the game prior to the Galaxy game. And I think going in, the expectation was if we pull 9 points, we're probably going to be in, either first or second in MLS or in the Western Conference. So pulling only 2 points out of those games, despite I mentioned to you guys, we tallied up the XG from both those games. We had 6.5 XG in 2 games, and our opponent tallied up 1 in total. And we ended up tying a game 3-3 and tying a game 2-2. So it's one of those things where I think the seesaw of opportunity and like what the actual game model looked like very much was in the Minnesota United field of we should have probably pulled 6 points out of those 2 games against 2 teams, obviously 2 that are towards the bottom of the Western Conference right now. And now we're getting another team that I've kind of put in, earlier in our pre-show, I mentioned that Salt Lake is definitely a team that I think doesn't have anything identifiable that really makes me think that team has playoffs in them this year. So I think that's where approaching the point was how hard our schedule gets after playing teams like that you really do need to pull 3 points out of that as well. Everybody, I think, kind of stumbled at a certain point over these last 2 weeks where the field of play in the Western Conference has really leveled off. You can see too when Dill was going through all the standings. There's so many teams up until down to about the 7th spot that is sitting on like 8 or 9 points. It's pretty much the entirety of the Western Conference playoff field at this point. So it's really whoever decides to kind of go on a couple game stretch of wins is going to, start to maybe build a little bit of a lead and really separate themselves from the pack. And I think Vancouver is the biggest one right now that so far has taken their opportunities outside of this past week and already had, a solid game lead to show for it. So the next team that chooses to get on a winning streak will be the team that does it. I'm hoping Minnesota United has that in them, but yeah, these last couple of results have been super frustrating.
All right. So I'm going to switch us to the 3 camp before we finish off. Another watch party in the books, a good 2-1 win for Austin FC. Me, Pix, and Biz all mess our predictions up for this one. So I'm curious to see what the record's going to be going into this following week. But that fully wraps up week 5 of the MLS. Vancouver on top in the Western Conference, and then who's on top in the Eastern Conference? Is it still Philly with the 1 loss, 5 wins? Yeah, 4 wins, 1 loss at 12 points. So Philly on top in the Eastern Conference as well. In regards to next things coming from us, our next podcast episode will be available this Friday. We are going to talk about when the next watch party will be during that episode, but it's probably going to be around 2 weeks from now, depending on what the game schedules are going to be like. Yep. Outside of that, guys, make sure to follow us on Twitch if you're not already. We'd really appreciate that. Subscribe to the YouTube if you want to listen to the podcast there. We also have Spotify. All the links are below if you guys want to find that stuff. But we really do appreciate everyone who came in today. The people from YouTube, I did notice you guys coming in to watch on the Twitch channel, so I appreciate that a lot. And just all your support. We're growing slowly, but I feel like we have a nice community that we're starting to build up with the MLS, and we're hitting our stride with the episodes. So it's been really fun. So we really do appreciate everything. And Pix and Biz, I appreciate you guys for being such great co-hosts here and not going after my burnt hair too much. So Biz, before we go, what do you have to say to the people?
Thanks for being in here, guys. This is a really fun passion project that I think gives us all something to look forward to week, especially with those of you that are coming from our football manager communities with the delay in the football manager game itself. So kind of is like a fun, kind of like a fun pivot point that has been kind of maybe a silver lining out of what ended up being kind of a unfortunate news. We've kind of tried to make something positive come from that. So for anybody that's new, we hope you guys, stick around and enjoy the content, and feel free, pop in the Discord, give us suggestions on what you guys would like to see, because we're still trying to, I think, figure out fully what our lane is. I think we're starting to get pretty good about figuring it out, but anything that you guys want to see, by all means, feel free. We're open to suggestions.
Picks?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Biz said. I think that, super grateful for everyone who, everything that you said as well. That got me so off guard. I appreciate everybody who stopped by besides Dill40k. Um,
That's fair. I'll be
but
the
yeah,
heel.
no, everybody who stopped in, supported, super grateful for that. And yeah, just excited to talk a little bit more soccer in the next coming minutes when we film the podcast. So be on the lookout for that on Friday.
All right. Well, we will see. CJ, you dick. We'll see you guys in the next one. We appreciate you as always. And yeah, have a great rest of your guys' day. Go watch the USA beat Canada right now. Hopefully. I don't know. Who knows what's going to